I could be your hero, but I can't get out of bed. There's too much in my head. I could be more faithful, but I fail at that habit. So I run around instead. I wanna be good to myself, love hard to breathe more, drink less. I wanna be seen at my best, sleep more, be nice a lot less. All I need is 21 days and I'm fine. January 1, I'ma still need more time. Every single year, yeah, it never fails, I try. But maybe I don't ever wanna put down this life. I could be your best friend, but I can't pick up my phone. Let it ring cause no one's home. I'm always judging and degrading. I should stop all that, I'm sure, but I'm just too insecure. I wanna be good to myself, love hard to breathe more, drink less. I wanna be seen at my best, sleep more, be nice a lot less. All I need is 21 days and I'm fine. January 1, I'ma still need more time. Every single year, yeah, it never fails, I try. But maybe I don't ever wanna put down this life. All I need is 21 days and I'm fine. January 1, I'ma still need more time. Every single year, yeah, it never fails, I try. But maybe I don't ever wanna put down this life.
Hello there, hello there, hello there everybody. How the devilly devil are we all? I am sensationally well, I thank you for asking. It's a happy hour of sorts. We'll get into it shortly. I am Kevin Logan, the intellectual equivalent of a fucking pillow. And joining me as ever, it's the I don't know, the pillow to my. That works. That works. It's Dr. Kristi Winters.
Well, hey, Kevin. That was a confusing opening, but hey, you can't be great all the time.
Oh, I right, the fucking shade straight off the bat. Oh my
Well,
word!
it just means to say that most of the time you are great. It was a compliment.
Yeah, but
Sorta.
that means that. Yeah, but that's like saying, yeah, you look great most of the time. Like you know what you're saying.
Well, I mean,
there.
that would be a true statement about me. No, actually, it wouldn't. I don't even make an effort anymore these days.
Does
Anyway.
anyone anymore? I think the makeup industry is, along with My Pillow, about to go out of business.
Yes. Yeah. So, what have you done in like the 26 hours since we last spoke? Because I've been up to some sad shit.
Oh, I'm mainly jerking it.
Great.
Over My Pillow, man. Basically.
Right. Okay.
What have you been up to?
Well, I watched about, I want to say almost an hour of the video, and then I had to go to bed. But then I'm also such a sad sack that I found a text-to-speech app, and I started to listen to the Smartmatic document against the court case filing against Fox et al. And I got about 2 hours into it because it's like an 8-hour document.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that's. Yeah.
It's exceptionally well written all the way through so far, by the way.
So far, like you're gonna go back to it. Oh my God, Kristi, please. Like this. The reason I've said this is at the start was sort of a happy hour is because Kristi's going to be joining us for the first like 2 hours of it.
Yeah.
Or nearly 2 hours, whatever. Because she's going to go and do D&D. Now, I would usually criticise for that, but as I'm going to be watching the entirety of Mike Lindell's 2-hour nonsense, don't worry, it'll be at 1.5 speed. We'll try and get through it. But
yeah.
I can't really complain about the sadness tonight, can I, really?
No.
No, just no.
Oh, before we start this, should we also say the other big news that happened in media besides this being dropped yesterday over on Fox
News?
News?
Turns out Anderson Cooper is 19% cardboard.
No,
Mad.
That wasn't what I was talking about. I was
different
talking
story.
Lou Dobbs.
Yeah,
Lou Dobbs.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Yeah, you know.
Well, this is the thing. It is sort of connected, obviously, because everyone's being sued.
Mm-hmm.
The media landscape on the right at the minute is a toxic brew of nonsense. And Mike Lindell, rather than going, let's clear this up, he's gone full Chernobyl. He's just burning all the shit down. He doesn't care.
This is a mess, what we're about to watch. But can I just say about Lou Dobbs getting cancelled by Fox? Oh, did you want to get it out?
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's being cancelled, even though he's the most popular show on that network.
Yes.
So.
Logan's amazing conservatives of cancel culture. Cocks and penis.
Yeah, there. Yeah, Lou Dobbs has been unceremoniously, out of nowhere, fired.
Well, yeah, not out of nowhere. As a direct consequence, probably.
Well,
like someone on Twitter
out of
said
nowhere,
it well.
as in, like, there's no other reason. It's not like
Right.
there was like
Yes.
rumblings that they were going to get rid of him or he resigned or something. They've been sued for again $2.7 billion.
Billion.
Yeah, and if you add that to the previous Dominion case, that's a combination of $4 billion, enough to definitely bring them to their knees, if not completely destroy them. They've decided to fire him. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with Bartiromo and who was the other guest?
Perino.
Judge, the judge. Ironically, in a lot of legal trouble. Yes, and they've gone. I don't know if they're going as well, but Dobbs is definitely gone.
Yeah, there was someone on Twitter who had a very good quip in reply to a headline about it, which is Fox News. Lou, we like you. We just don't $2.7 billion like you.
True. They like you. They don't fucking love you, mate. Just come on now. So we're going to take a look at Mike Lindell's nonsense. This was the video, if you remember, from the amazing storm off from the host on Newsmax. Mike was trying to promo. On Friday, we're going to release this video with the 100% proof. And it's literally, the video is ironically sort of titled Absolute Proof. No, Absolute Truth. Sorry, Absolute Truth.
Yes.
Which is ironic given that it contains zero truth.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
Now, this video was technically banned on YouTube. So I want to say, if this does get flagged in any way whatsoever, I just want to put straight out there to the person, if assuming that YouTube even put a person on this case, we're going to be refuting the nonsense that this fucking idiot says and laughing at him. So
Yes.
we're not doing election fraud nonsense, we're doing anti-election fraud nonsense. And in lieu of that as well, because we're going to try and get through as much of this as we can with Kristi, and then I'll do the rest when she has to go off and do her degeneracy and degeneracy. I presume that's what the D's stand for.
Yes. Yes. You make it sound so much more like naughty than
Fun.
it is.
I make it sound a lot more fun than it is.
No, it's a lot of fun, but you're very X-rated.
Is it? Anyway, to stop us having to say it every single fucking second, I'm just going to put this on the screen for everyone. Straight off the bat. Citation. Because it's every 5 fucking seconds we'd have to stop and say it. So it's just going to be on the screen all the way through. No, it's going to be right there.
Okay.
No, it's going to be right in the middle of the fucking screen. Don't make me tap the sign, Mike. Anyway, so the video is actually entitled Mike Lindell. Hang on, what's it called? Shit. Mike Lindell, absolute proof, exposing election fraud and the theft of America. As an American, Kristi, how does it feel to have your entire country stolen?
Well, I have to say, it doesn't look like absolute. It looks like absolute with a misshapen eggplant or something next to it, because absolute ends where Lake Michigan is, and it looks like another but like messed up letter.
Oh,
like
yeah,
absoluter.
Absoluter, yeah. That's what lake is that? That's Lake Michigan, is it?
Michigan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because the E is all over Wisconsin.
I'd never noticed. Lake Michigan looks a little bit like a shit.
Well, there you go. There's your geography. Now you'll never forget which Michigan.
Lake Michigan, the one, looks like a turd. Trust me, I've dropped a few Great Lakes in my time. Let me tell you. Anyway, so we're going to take a look at this, and it's genuinely one of the most ridiculous, unhinged, rambly nonsense things you'll ever see in your life. Let's just fucking dive in.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's an absolute mess. And as I said to Kevin off air, this thing is offensive on so many levels to me. Like, not only is it just full of crap, but also just pay attention to the shit editing that they do. And they also obviously never did more than one take on this. It was like a one and done. Like, they never like, you want to go again, Mike? He's like, no, never.
No.
He has no organization to this.
Well, I was going to ask you, as a person who's put together like presentations and stuff, how would you start at the very least? What would be the professional thing to do to lay out at the very beginning? The main thing you want people to start off the presentation knowing.
Well, tonight we're going to lay out our case. We're going to talk to this person when they're going to show us this person. Like, you basically, it's tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. Like every essay you ever had to write. It's the same principle. Yeah. And as it is, he just rambles on. He keeps promising a show later, but then he keeps going on for like another 15 minutes.
Yeah, the opening is him for about 15 to 20 minutes rambling. He doesn't tell us why he's telling us the thing he's telling us. No. We're supposed to just know, apparently. And he literally claims at least twice that this is going to be played to the Supreme Court.
Yes. He keeps saying, we're going to present evidence 100%. I never saw any evidence. No. It's just people talking shit.
No. And they'll show you numbers. And again, I just tap the sign. Citation needed, Mike. Citation needed.
Oh, can I give you a little hint? If you have a series of numbers that claim to be vote totals or any kind of counting in the real world, and they always seem to end up to a number that ends in 0, that's bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's 500, that's bullshit. If it's 10,000, that's bullshit. I mean, it's very rare for those numbers to come up in the wild, as it were, of actual data.
If they come up more than 1 in 100,
yeah,
you're looking at something that's very sus.
Precisely.
Yeah. Anyway, so absolute proof. Show it to me, Mike. Show me the theft of America.
Give it to me.
By the way, like I say, we're going to play it at 1.5 speed. Because I have.
Oh, we can't do 2 hours of this.
No, and also they barely chipmunk. That's how fucking low energy, slow speaking twats these are.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. This is Mike Lindell, the CEO of MyPillow. As you all know, I have been attacked the last month relentlessly. It's on social media, by newspapers, by TV shows, by you name it, I've been attacked. And myself, not just myself, but my company. The boycotts that are going on, box stores are dropping me, social media, they cancel my Twitter. Today, they canceled my Pillow's Twitter account.
So he's just starting off with a fucking whinge?
Yes, this is terrible. Yeah, it's all about him whining. Like it's the Mike Lindell whines for 2 hours show.
Yeah. This is another example that when you've got enough money in America, people just let you do things.
You can just hire people to help you do the things you want, and no one will tell you no.
Yeah, they should just step in and go, no, Mike, for the good of everyone, including yourself, trust me, don't do this. This is bad.
My company's Twitter account. Well, before I was going to get erased completely.
Oh, by the way, yeah, and he says, they got rid of my company Twitter account. Yeah, because you tried to evade a ban by using that account.
Ask Carl Benjamin how that works out.
Yeah. Ask your friend Donald Trump how that works out.
Yeah.
We put together this show, and what you're going to see today is what they don't want you to see, why they're trying to erase me. And what I've told everyone out there is, you know what? I've seen evidence. I've been trying since November 4th to prove, to show what's out there. Why are these deviations that happened on election night?
By the way, pause. We're 59 seconds in. I think that's the first time he said election.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like you'd literally start off with, hello there, welcome to this presentation on election fraud. We're going to prove 100% conclusively, blah, blah, blah. But no, he starts off with, they're trying to erase me. He mentioned his own Twitter account and his company Twitter account before he mentioned the election. Also,
the person who edited it went and found that Fox clip of all the companies that gave him the boot and put it in.
Yep. So
let me just visualize your humiliation.
Yeah, just free advertisement there.
Wonderful.
Also, is it just me, or are on the maps on his thing? I noticed this. Are the maps on his screen making Mexico look a lot skinnier than it actually is?
Oh, that I didn't notice. I was just getting a real Leap 2 vibe off of this background set.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the British news network.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So I dove all in with everything I had, resources. Anytime I heard something that maybe was relevant, I went and said, looked into it, did my own due diligence, had even my own investigation. Well, on one day, I think it was like January 9th, all of a sudden, these people, they brought me some a piece of evidence that's 100% proved. It's like a print of inside the machine of the timestamp that showed other countries attacking us, hacking into our election through these.
In terms of stock footage, that's
so much.
What you call it? A fucking. The space robot. What was that film called that we did? I can't even fucking remember it.
Frankenstein meets the space monster.
Frankenstein meets the space monster. So
it is this. And the thing is that they decide to visualize the strangest fucking things. Like, as an editor, there might be a time when you want to cut to something to kind of reinforce the point visually, which that one made sense. But sometimes they just do it randomly. This is what I say about poor editing. Just watch.
No, I know that's a globe, but I'm saying it looks weird because I know Central America is like really skinny, but Mexico never even if you go past the Yucatan Peninsula.
It might be lying over the horizon though.
Mexico is always just on the horizon, Kristi, just out of reach.
Yes.
See, I made that metaphorical.
These machines, and it shows the votes flipped, and I'm going, wow, I got to get this out there. And from that point on, I started putting it out there.
Hang on, we've got Kat.
By the way, if you're asking, at least in the first hour, does he ever show how the votes were flipped in any sort of like empirical? Oh, kitty cam. Oh, everybody stop. The answer is no.
No.
They just talk crap this entire time.
Well, he does. He'll go, we're going to get into the evidence later. Are we?
Yes. Keep saying that.
Yeah. It's weird.
I think it's later and later.
And you just think, he's going to show. And not just that, but he makes a very specific allegation about communism in a second that he never even begins to substantiate. So.
And that's when they just started attacking me. Well, they obviously are hiding something, and tonight you're going to see what they're hiding. You're going to see on this show, we're going to have cyber forensic experts. We're going to have 100%. You're going to see all this evidence that by the time you're done seeing it, you're going to go, wow. 100% it proves exactly what happened, that these machines were used to steal our election by other countries.
By the way, can I just congratulate both Smartmatic and Dominion on their successful acquisition via lawsuit of the MyPillow company. Well done to them. They're going to own his ass.
Someone from the Lincoln Project tweeted out that one of the things that helps keep us our the first or manages speech is civil lawsuits. And yeah, not everything has to do with the government. Like your speech, there are other ways that your speech can violate the law that has nothing to do with the First Amendment.
Quite.
Including China. But I do want to tell you before we get into all that, I want to tell you that I can...
Also, yeah, look at this, right? The thing they link to, which is an article by a crazy fucker who's actually in this video, says, a cyber attack, this is from the URL, the cyber attack against US by China, Russia, in Iran, Iraq, Pakistan to steal the election from Trump. Notice there's one country very distinctly missing from that list.
Venezuela?
The Vuvuzela! God damn it. How dare they? How dare they try and take this from Chavez? He worked so hard. His ghost worked so fucking hard on this.
Years of manifesting.
So why I'm so happy today about two miracles that happened these last couple months. The first miracle was on election night. And on election night at 11:15 at night, the algorithms of these machines basically broke. And this will be explained during the show. But they broke. What that means is Donald Trump...
That's what I mean. Look, this is what I mean. Mexico looks a lot skinnier. It doesn't bulge anywhere. It's Baja, California. Where is it?
You are still on this geography thing.
It doesn't look right. That's not how Central America
Kevin,
connects to South America. It's wrong.
You're right. It is wrong. It's wrong. I hear you, Kevin. I hear you. I see you.
Yeah, we want you to get help, Kevin. You're hurting yourself and everyone around you. Anyway. Yeah, did you have a wider point other than shut
I think I forgot it.
Kev?
There was one, but I forgot it. And so I'm sure it'll come up again because it's a lot of repetition here.
No, his obviously geographically incorrect representation of Central America is the least of his mendacities.
Well, now that you can focus on something besides that, we can...
I don't think I ever will, Kristi. I don't think I ever will ever get past this.
Got so many more millions of votes that they didn't expect that they're going to have to go recalibrate, right? So that's why all these states shut down. All of a sudden, they all shut down. And we're all going, what? That's weird. This has never happened in any other election. And then we're going, okay. Then as the days went on,
yeah,
going,
by the way,
another week.
Just to say, I remember what I was going to say, which is like the elections didn't shut down at night, sort of like all at once. Also, it's quite common like for people to stop and go home and come back the next day because a lot of times they started at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
When the polls opened or before the polls opened. So he acts like this is some really bizarre things. There are also places that continue to count through the night. It's one of these weird accusations that they make that has no basis in fact.
Yeah. John Kernbos with a bit, thank you very much, says, have you seen the reaction of Giuliani to the fact that there is a disclaimer on his radio show? Damn hilarious. Apparently he wasn't aware that they would play a disclaimer. I haven't. If you want to link that, that's cool. By the way, you can give me bits on Twitch if you want to, or messages via the streamlabs.com/KFlogan1875. That was almost a jingle.
Yeah,
anyway.
I had a jingle one of these previous shows.
Yeah, and that's linked below if you want to.
Oh, it's 1875. Yeah, that was it.
That sounds like a phone number. Mm-hmm. But don't ring it, because that isn't actually a phone number.
Or text it.
No.
Takes like Arizona to count 1% of their vote, and you see these big spikes like in Michigan, all these big vote.
Good graphics.
And they use them over and over.
Yeah, highlighting Lake Michigan's very turd-like form. Just saying.
Although, I mean, the edges don't. The top bit doesn't look like a turd.
No, well, no, complicated. Also, what's Wisconsin doing there? That's Canada.
No, Canada is above the water, and above the EUP.
This bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got a buffer.
No, I'm doing a joke. Never mind.
Yeah.
You're a Canadian exclave.
Nobody understood it, right? We're like living in this kind of twilight zone during that time. Well, that is one miracle there.
I don't think you ever left the time.
Think if they would have estimated right,
Mike.
And what would have happened is it would have been just like a normal election at 3 a.m. They would have said, Biden won. He won by a little bit, and we would have said, better luck next time. But because he got so many votes,
that's definitely what would have happened. There was definitely a scenario where fucking Mike Lindell and his ilk didn't go crazy and say it was stolen. No, you announced before you fucking started that you were going to say it was fucking rigged.
Yeah, and also the solution is we're just going to give all these votes to Trump.
Also, where the fuck is the Black Sea?
What?
It's disappeared. This is geographically an abomination. Sorry.
I told you this was a mess. It's offensive on so many levels.
Turkey's sort of just become a slight bulge rather than a massive, like, individual. That's... Mike, you're a fucking shambles, my friend.
Sort your globe out.
Exactly, it's embarrassing. Where the fuck is Atlantis? Outrageous.
And set off this series of events of these deviations. If that wouldn't have happened, we would have never been here talking about biggest attack in history, the biggest cyber attack.
Numbers.
And this is, the American
Stock
dream would be gone
footage.
forever because we would have never known. And it would just, using machines, it would have took us over forever. Here comes the second miracle. And with this one, I got to show you here on the chart. I'm going to go through these, and I'm going to tell you.
Has he explained anything yet?
No.
We're 4
he's just
fucking minutes
babbling.
in, and he's just rambling.
Yeah.
God damn it.
He doesn't have any structure. He has no sort of points. Like I said, it's just one take. They didn't do a second take of any of these things. And it's a mess.
Oh, that's a great line. Apparently the Black Sea's leaking out of Giuliani's hair. That's a good line.
Tell you why this is a miracle. Okay, what we're going to do here, we're going to go state by state, and we're going to show you what else happened. So here's Arizona. Okay, the margin of victory was 10,000 votes. That
Okay, can you pause
Biden
this?
won. Now,
All right, there is no source for these numbers.
No, that's why, again, citation needed on the screen is necessary, trust me.
Yeah, and look at some of these categories.
Yeah. Illegal aliens voting. It's good they've got official numbers on that. That's quality.
Ending in 00. That's
Yeah.
reliable.
Yeah.
Registered voters registered to a vacant lot.
2,000, exactly.
Again, really, really, really believable.
Yeah.
Voters registered, after the registration, 150,000, 103,000,
Exactly.
50,000. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. No, these numbers are not real. These are not real numbers. Like maybe the mail-in ballot one is real.
Well, you can tell the real ones because they don't end in 0
Yeah,
all the time.
exactly.
So, like, completed mail-in ballots received day before ballots were mailed. I don't
And
know that that's possible. What the fuck does that mean?
And this is category of possible errors. So these aren't all suspect votes. You can't just pick a category and go, oh, we're just going to eliminate these 150,000 and we're going to take it all away from Biden and give the election to Trump.
No,
Like,
and they
that's
also say, literally, they have one in one of the ones after this. Number of dead voters. I
Yeah.
like that they've got definitive numbers on the number of dead voters. Shut the fuck up, man. You had your
This
time
is-
in court. You lost. Just fucking move on.
Yes, this is all nonsense. And also, I think these numbers are like before the certification process because I don't want to know what the final numbers are. But anyway, there's no date on here. There's no source. It's not reliable at all.
Also, the margin of victories, these have been certified. You can get the official numbers. Like, shall we? Let's just take a look at Arizona, right? Arizona election result.
What kind of vote are you looking for?
Just the exact number.
Numbers.
Yeah, the exact margin of victory for Joe Biden, because they've got, again, 10,000.
Yeah, again, an incredibly round number.
Yeah, the exact number is...
Oh no, we have to do math.
Oh no, I don't want to do mathematics. Oh, anyway, okay, so can someone do the maths for me there? I literally cannot be bothered.
Let me have Alexa do it.
Go on then. Alexa can
Alright.
do it for us.
Alexa, what's 72,143 minus 61,686? 10,457.
10,457, right?
That's the real number.
That's the real number. They just put 10,000. Like, I know technically you should round up, really, but they're rounding off, let's say, but still lazy. You could make
Yes.
this look slightly more professional rather than what it is, which is just some ink on the screen, or ink on paper, whatever.
Right.
You know. It's not, this is pixels. This is just fucking random assortment of pixels. Who cares?
Yeah, if you know the exact number, use the exact number because otherwise you look like you're full of shit.
Yeah, exactly. You're telling me this is 100% truth when I've literally just shown you at the very least that's not true.
Yeah, that's a wrong number.
Well, technically Alexa told us, but you know what I mean.
Right, but even if you gave him that margin of victory, Biden would still win by like 457 votes because they don't have the right number.
Also, 420, blaze it.
Yeah, I set off everybody's Alexa. Sorry, everyone. Okay.
Alexa, show me hardcore pornography.
I'm glad I have headphones on.
Oh.
If we look at this, let's go down the chart here. Mail-in ballots require an adjudication, almost 300,000. What these mean are these are votes that they put through, and you're going to learn all about that during this show too, with adjudication, how that works. But let's just go to the next one. Illegal aliens voting. 36,400 illegal aliens voted. You see that? You only lost by 10.
I love that. Illegal aliens as well. Not just illegal voters.
Nope.
Illegal
aliens.
aliens.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
I think at least 35,000 of those were mine.
Well, that's their racist code words for brown people.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a brown person, but I did vote many, many times in Arizona. So, Sydney, give me a call. I'll definitely go. You can present me to the Supreme Court as well.
There you go.
That's just as likely.
10,000. Boy, of course they can't vote. Okay, Donald Trump wins Arizona, right? We'll just keep going.
What?
Voters
What are you
registered
talking
to obey the
about?
2,000. Completed mail-in ballots received the day before the ballots were even mailed. They got 22,000 ballots back in Arizona before they had even mailed the ballots out. What? That's kind of bizarre, right?
I print mine off.
Oh, so is that actually a possible thing? Okay. So there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for that then.
Well, I mean, I don't know how Arizona works, but...
Yeah. I just assumed he'd made it up. But if that's actually possible, then 22,000 isn't that much. Because we're talking about a state of many millions of people.
Yeah, I'm saying it's a possibility.
Arizona,
I'd like to see the statute, let's say. But he doesn't bring that either.
No.
Keep going. Down here, Maricopa County, electronic adjudicated ballots, 103,000. Votes loaded before opening of polls. So the votes...
Also, with no Republican observer present, incorrect. That never happened.
Yeah,
that's just a lie.
Hey, did I hear the money
even loaded.
tingle?
The money tingle. Ooh, baby. Something happened. I don't know what the fuck it was. Majority Rudy. Oh, okay.
We got the clip. Thanks, John.
Yeah, the Rudy disclaimer bit. Okay. Yes, thank you.
I had no idea what I was getting into.
Oh, that's an advert.
This is predatory behavior.
I fear for people who...
Oh, okay.
Rudy Giuliani is one of 4 people, I think, where he does like an hour-long show, I think daily. Here's Rudy Giuliani reacting to the disclaimer he hears before his show airs.
The views, assumptions, and opinions expressed by former U.S. Attorney to the President of the United States, and New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani, his guests and callers on his program are strictly their own and do not necessarily represent the opinions, beliefs, or policies of WABC Radio, its owner, Red Apple Group, and other WABC hosts or our advertisers.
We are New York, talking about what matters to you.
Hilarious.
Now, it's former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani on New York's Talk Radio 77 WABC.
I would have thought they would have told me about that before just doing what they just did.
Oh, that's so good.
I think, to be honest, I think that's fair. For once, I'm going to agree with Rudy Giuliani. They should have told him. He can't be surprised that they wanted to do it, but they should have told him, yeah.
Honestly, he was just sued in a group of people for $2.7 billion. He's got to expect a lot of people to step back like he just farted. Come on.
Oh, yeah, the fact that it's a regional radio station and they're still prepared to even have him on, even with the disclaimer. Fuck.
Yeah.
Oof. Okay.
Oh, that's good.
That's good. Thank you for that, yes.
They were already in there before the polls even opened, 50,000. Okay, you see all that. Let's go to the next state here. I'm going to skip Georgia and come back to it. Let's go to Michigan.
Can't see
Michigan, dead voters, 17,367.
This is the most shit. Like, what you want is a dark background, and you want the numbers that you want people to pay attention to pop by putting them in like a light gray or a white and fade out. Like, this is just an assault on the eyes. And when it's on the screen, it's completely illegible. This is such a mess.
But also, what does this mean? Dead voters, that's obviously nonsense. But first, middle, last, date, obituary. What are we supposed to take from the... Oh, is this a fucking Trump man-woman TV camera thing? What the fuck's going on here?
Well, he makes reference to how Trump talked about this document, or a document like this, So maybe this is the one that got passed around in the Kraken circles.
That the thing where they went through the obituaries for the P, and they went like, oh, we look at the first, last, middle names. But but what about the fact that people have names? I'm in a group called the International Union of Kevin Logans on Facebook, and there are about 15,000 of us in that Facebook group.
Yeah.
Let alone the ones that obviously aren't.
So if you remember the Georgia call when they were going back and forth and they say your numbers are wrong, they're like, well, give us the numbers. And like, they're data protection. We can't give you the data so you can independently verify the numbers. It would break the law.
Yeah.
These are the bullshit numbers, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, this was the document that was put together by some rando who went through obituaries in Michigan. Well, I'm sorry, that doesn't... I'll be honest with you. That's an interesting kink you have, but other than that, I don't give a fuck.
That sounds like a job that you give to an intern. Or a bunch of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
Look up all of the obituaries, like cross-reference Google for these names in this city.
Yeah. And it'd make me a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Just basically leave me alone. I've got actual important shit to do, kid.
We don't make our interns get coffee. But if they're going out for coffee, then they can buy for more people.
No, you just put out cigarettes on them and stuff, don't you?
No. Sometimes I buy the coffees.
Spit on
they're
them
usually
and call
poor
them
students.
obscene
This is your
sexual
fantasy.
names.
Never be.
If you're going to intern at a fucking adult sex dungeon, what do you expect to happen?
I'm not talking about my side gig.
Oh, sorry, my bad, mistress. It's Wayne County. So again, Wayne County is the county that Detroit's in. So basically, that's where the black people are. Mm-hmm. And 71% of the districts didn't balance. Even though it was actually higher in previous elections. So literally, it was better than previous elections.
Yeah.
Because they get together and then they make them balance by looking at what the discrepancy is. And the discrepancy is often like 4 votes.
Yes, or someone did the maths wrong.
Yeah.
Or punched in the numbers incorrectly.
Yeah, but they're definitely going to overturn nearly 150,000 votes in Michigan. Okay, babe. Yeah, definitely.
This is Michigan is kind of its own. We're going to talk about Michigan. It's very different than the other states, what went on there. So it's all grouped together, 615,000 votes that are just in question. It is different than other states.
It's in 2 bits.
Let's go to the next one here, Nevada. Okay, here's Nevada.
All right, we've got to power through this.
4,000.
Yeah.
Mail-in or absentee ballots for voters that were known to have voted in other states, 15,000. Clark County used signature verification, 1/2 the image quality that was suggested by the manufacturer,
500.
and to check the mail-in ballot signatures, 130,000. We'll just skip through that. Raffle tickets that they were incentivized by.
By the way, that's the incentivized voting, blah, blah, blah. That's a thing that happened at a couple of Native American indigenous reserve things. They weren't incentivized at all to vote one way or the other. They're incentivized to vote.
Yes.
It was about trying to get community engagement from a community which often hasn't bothered to engage for obvious historical reasons. Let's not go into it. But they haven't, and so they were trying to engage them in the civic processes by literally just, like it was you can get involved in the raffle. If you go and vote, you get in the raffle and you might win a prize.
Yeah, I think I've told this story before when I was...
It was completely independent. There was no party affiliation. There was no fucking political dialogue about events and stuff. No, it was just getting people to the voting booths. That's fine. Why are they against that?
The Wisconsin law is similar in that you can't incentivize someone to vote for a party, or I don't even know if to vote. So what we had was people, when I was student government president, I organized a thing that if you brought an I voted sticker, you got like a free Pepsi or something for a drink of your choice. It was the sticker that you got. You could get it by voting. I guess if you went and stole a bunch of stickers, but that wasn't kind of the point for free Pepsi. Wouldn't make sense. So that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. Also, notice the top of the chart and all the 4,000, 15,000, 130,000, 500. Again, precise zeros at the end. Bullshit.
But dead people who voted 1,506. So now there are. I think one of the states. Where they say, dead people voted. Technically, some of those people were dead people who voted. But
if you cast your ballot before, it might be able to be counted.
In some states, you have to be alive when the ballot is counted. In some states, you just have to be alive when you post the ballot.
Which to me seems like the right thing.
Yeah,
if you're alive to do it, it should count, in my opinion.
Exactly, it should, yeah.
Yeah. And so there was also a long lead up, and there was COVID. So those numbers are depressing, but in a state as large as Arizona,
Yeah.
do I find it surprising? Not
Statistically,
really.
there are going to be some people who are going to fucking die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that's not nice, but it's a fact of life. But either way, presumably in one of the two of the states, whatever, those dead people were dead people who voted, but they were alive when they voted.
Yeah, and also they have voters who double voted. There are times that you can vote and then bring your say you want to spoil your ballot or you made a mistake or whatever, and you want to get a new ballot and you cancel out the other one.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, non-Nevadans who voted in Nevada, like non-Georgians who voted in Georgia.
And also, none of this has anything. So, can we also just say individual instances of voter fraud are not evidence of systemic voter fraud or systematic organized voter fraud? None of this is evidence of like Dominion or Smartmatic accusations they were making. These are just like, this is throwing spaghetti at the wall. Let me show you every single instance to raise doubt about the election's entirety.
Yeah, basically. Also, getting rid of all of these votes doesn't necessarily mean that Trump would win, because given the amount of Republicans who engage in voter fraud, he might actually end up losing by more.
Yep.
500. Here we go. Here's a big one. Dead people who voted, 1,506. Non-Nevadans who voted in Nevada. They don't even live in Nevada. 19,218.
Is that what that means?
42,200.
I know, crazy, right?
Okay, as you can see, they add up to over 200,000. Donald Trump lost by 34,000 votes. Okay, let's go to the next one, Pennsylvania. Mail-in votes accounted without a Republican observer. We all heard that stuff. It's well over 600,000. Mail-in ballots, 68. Here's another one too. We could almost you're going to hear a lot about this during this thing. But let's go down. Poll workers that voted with various errors in the bins. This is the one where you heard the fake ballots that were driven from New York to Pennsylvania. You'll hear a little about that in the show too. We're going to go back to Pennsylvania. You can all see it adds up to 866,000. Donald Trump lost by 68,000. And there'll be a point to all this I'm getting to. Okay, here's Wisconsin.
There isn't.
Get to it.
Surge of identity combined voters in 2020. That's it.
Also, nicely, they haven't bothered putting the third zero. So that's well put together.
Well, later on, did you see my video clip about their cancel culture stamp?
Oh, yeah, cancelled with one L. He needs to burn more interns with cigarettes. That's how they learn.
No.
That would take a while to explain, but there was 130,000.
It would take a while to explain, but in this entire 2 hours, I'm not going to bother.
No.
You put together a 2-hour I say presentation very loosely.
Rant.
Yeah, rant. And at no point do you explain any of these things?
Yeah, can you tell us where any of these numbers came from? Do you have your sources?
Well, they could tell it, but they couldn't show it, because technically showing Sidney Powell's anus would be against TOS.
Postal Service backdated ballots, 100,000. Okay, that's incredible if you actually look into it. The mail-in ballots entering the tabulation price under the guise of absentee ballots in clear violation of state law, 170,000. Okay, the margin of victory for Biden was 20,000 votes. Now we're going to go back to Georgia. Okay, but everyone knows the president.
Why have they put sad music on this at this point?
Yes, all of a sudden, when they brought up the Wisconsin numbers, right in the middle, there was no background music, and then suddenly the music got like sad and ominous at the same time. I was kind of conflicted emotionally as to what I was supposed to be feeling. But this was like, why is there music? I also made a video at some point, maybe the next bookmarks, we'll go over the bits I clipped out of this that are so ridiculous.
Yeah.
That was one of them. Yeah. Why music?
The Secretary of State in Georgia, and on that call, he said he was listing these to the Secretary of State. He said, okay, you have felons with incomplete...
Also, you can afford 2 microphones, Mike, because when you turn away from the fucking screen, it sounds like you're speaking from the distance like that. It's very quiet. And then you go... Like it's...
Yes, can I give you more presentation skill advice here?
Please do.
Okay, when you are giving a PowerPoint, you are the presentation. Your PowerPoint is your visual aid. Do not turn around and speak to the PowerPoint, because then the audience is looking at the back of your head and they can't hear you because you're talking away from them.
I'd look at the back of Mike's head. Fuck me,
yes. You need to have a second screen. If you want to make a point with a pointer, you can step away from the screen, make the point with the pointer, and then turn and face your audience again. Yeah. This is amateur hour. Like, this guy should go to Toastmasters.
Well, yeah, he could have afforded to pay and employ a scriptwriter.
Yes.
And some sort of like director.
Yes, plan. Like, you're going to have these edits, which are shit, by the way. I mean, look at the sizing on this. Like, they could have like filled the screen and have it scroll down so that the numbers sort of appear and then fade out. Like, this is just garbage. This is like, Did Mike do this?
Yeah, to Tony, trying to throw shade in the chat, sounds like a Kev stream. Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, I'm not a multi-squillionaire who can, like, afford to employ people. I can barely afford to, like, run my life, let alone extra bits like fucking second monitors and such.
But you still compose your screen so that you can see your audience and your audience can see the content. And you don't turn away from them to make a point or to discuss it.
No, but I do move away from the microphone so you can barely hear me, and then I'm right there.
You do that a lot, yeah. But he could have just said, look, and these numbers, I'm going to look forward and just put it in a picture-in-picture. It's a default thing on editing software. Like, you cannot get it and not have picture-in-picture.
Or you could just, like I say, employ a scriptwriter. And then have
Imagine that.
a monitor with the auto cue. And then you can just
Like
look directly into the camera and talk like that, and people will understand what you're saying and be able to hear you in a clear, audible fashion.
Yeah, and you'll be coherent.
Yeah. Rather than just going, the 7,000 dead voters and the dead people.
We're going to talk about that later. Like,
Non-Nevadans. That means someone from not Nevada. Like, come on, man. Fucking
Census that voted and cast their vote, 2,560. Underage children that registered to vote and illegally voted.
Underage children! Like, there are overage children to vote.
Yeah, you can register when you're 17 in a lot of states if you're going to be 18 on the day or before the election,
Yeah, like the opposite of the dead people.
Yeah.
6,000.
Well, not that they were dead and then became alive. You know what I mean? Age, yeah.
47. Unregistered voters who voted, 2,423. Registered voters who voted in another state after their Georgia registration date, 4,926.
These numbers are meaningless.
Voters who voted in Georgia and also voted in another state, 395.
And again, I'll point you to the sign at the top of the screen that says citation needed.
Yeah, this is like the Gish Gallop of a table. If you wanted to Gish Gallop a table, just read out all the numbers because you're overwhelming people. I can't respond to all this.
Yeah. And it's good that they've got Linwood already nailed on one of the 17,000 of living outside of Georgia and voted in Georgia. Yeah. Good. Good representation for Lynn there.
5. Voters who voted in Georgia but changed their address before the election to do it, 15,700. People who failed to
you mean like the Florida senator, or was it congressperson, who said that they were going to do that? I don't know if they ended up doing it, but don't admit to trying to do crimes on camera.
Yeah, I think the DA in that, like, or someone in that state got involved with calling them and going, don't you fucking do
Yeah,
that.
don't do that. Fucking hell.
We're going to arrest you because you made a video saying it. So we have to kind of prosecute you now.
Yep.
To vote in their county in time after moving from one county to another, 40,279. Voters who illegally claimed a post office box as their resident, 1,043. Voters who registered too late to vote in the election, 98. People who died prior to the election, they were already dead, 10,315.
Also, it's interesting that you can still be elected as a dead person, but you can't vote as a dead person.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, isn't it?
It is. It is, yeah.
Okay, ballots with no chain of custody. We'll probably talk a little bit about that in this show, too. 600,000. And here's what the president said.
Again, that's not fucking true. This has already been debunked.
Yes.
Fucking hell. And the thing is, he led into this thing on the Newsmax interview by saying, it's complete evidence, it's going to be new, we're going to reveal all the evidence. You kept saying the word reveal the evidence. This is the same shit you were pumping out 2 months ago that didn't work.
Well, it didn't work in part because it's exactly 600,000 votes, which is a made-up number. And like there is also, it might not even require a chain of custody in Georgia. I don't know how their laws work, but I don't know that states often have, like, they might have security and stuff, but not like a proper crime scene chain of custody where people have to sign off. I don't know how it works, but anyway, I don't believe these numbers, and it's not evidence. Reading out a chart is not evidence, unless you can tell me where you got the data from.
Which I can't.
No. What do you eat?
Secretary of State in Georgia.
I got biscuits. This is going to be a long show because fucking 40 odd minutes in and we've cut through less than 10 minutes.
Yes.
Now it will be slightly easier when
I'm
not being interrupted by a fucking woman all the time. Jesus Christ! I'm only joking. But yeah, either way, it's going to be
a while.
It's going to be a long show. Yeah.
Can you just give us, why don't you just give us your, it's only 10, you only lost by 11,730 votes. He said, how about you just give us your underage that voted or your dead people, and we win. It didn't make sense. You say, how about this?
Yeah, he kept saying, find me votes. That's not how any of that works.
No.
He's the president of the United States, and really simple concepts have to be explained to him. Like, the reason he pulled out of starting the Patriot Party, it turns out, even though he'd been president for 4 years, it had to be explained to him that starting a third party and funding primary candidates from a different party is illegal. You can't do that. That's called interference in a different political party. That's illegal. You can't do it. So in order to be able to primary the people he doesn't like, he's had to not set up a new party. Because, just not to put too fine a point on it, he's a fucking moron.
Also, third parties don't do well.
Well, there's that as well, but either way, he didn't want to get into even more legal trouble.
This line here, this people who failed to register, 40,000. Can you just give us that? He said, he named the columns, and you know what the Secretary of State of Georgia said? Those numbers are wrong. And the president said, well, who gave us the numbers? He asked his guy, and that guy said, we got them from the Secretary of State's office. And the president said to the Secretary of State, well, when can we get the right numbers? And the other guy said, sir, we've been trying to get them from the Secretary of State for almost 2 months.
Yeah, Trump's own lawyers said that. So
what you're saying is, he's also saying these are the wrong numbers, according to Georgia.
Yeah.
The numbers he's showing us are wrong.
Yeah. But he's part of the deep state, Kristo. Even though he went with Trump and Trump went with him in their respective elections. But he's a part of the deep state.
And the point being here, now here comes the point I'm making. This is all the second miracle of the election. Every one of these states should have been, and 2 plus 2 is 4, right? You should say, okay, you can't count dead people, you can't count underage people. Every one of these states, Donald Trump wins. If the electors would have done their job, the legislators, if the governors wouldn't have said, hey, it's good. All these things that happened, all these anomalies that happened, it would never happen before, but much less one state, they all say that hey, we're going to go ahead and use this stuff, and we're going to declare Joe Biden the winner. But here's the big thing, the big miracle. If they would have done that, and said, you know what, we can't count these, Mr. Trump wins, Donald Trump wins, okay, then we wouldn't be where we're at right now. Because
it's such a rationalization
against humanity and our country is this attack through these machines. They got this opened up, this revealed the machines to where we're at right now. So what you're going to watch during this show is 100% proof that the big thing
like the Terminator
was the theft by these other countries that came in to attack our country.
Be afraid. Be afraid.
Yep.
China.
More of these zoom in graphics. Stop
these
footage
machines that are made to steal elections. Every election going forward in history, if these things would have happened, these two, and we would have never known, every single vote you would have ever made wouldn't have mattered. Somebody else would have made that vote. And we've all seen in this past month, you think it was a communist coming in and taking this over with people here. This is an attack not only on those other countries with communism, but they had domestic traitors right here in our country. Whatever.
So you think at some point he's definitely going to substantiate that communists have taken over America?
That there are, traitors in the country. He's going to present real evidence of this, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Can I get a C in chat for communism, please? Let's have some of that.
And the stock footage.
Yeah, can I get some C's for communism, some S's for stock footage, and some F's for Mike Lindell?
Yeah, there you go.
Whatever's going on right now, we're seeing it. They're suppressing cancel culture. They're trying to cancel us all out. I just seen churches, the Christian churches, they're being attacked.
There we go. If you just take the word cancel, you just put an ED on the end. That's how English works. English has got it's a very simple rule, like all of the rules. Just put whatever letters you like. It's fine. Who cares?
Sound it out.
Yeah. Cancelled.
Looks great to me.
Yeah, that'll do. Check.
Right now, people.
I like the fact that this is definitely going to get played in front of the Supreme Court, obviously. But they're stupid and won't realise these mistakes.
No.
All of the people who make it to the Supreme Court, idiots, obviously.
Yeah, that's why you see all those spelling mistakes.
Not learned legal folk who can sniff out nonsense. No. Idiots. I mean, to be fair, on a serious level, some of them are hateful pricks, but they're not stupid. You don't get there by being stupid. You get there by... No, I'm not going to do that joke. That joke wouldn't have been cool.
Okay.
We'll move on.
Hit play.
on social media, anyone that speaks up, they're going, you can't say that, you're gone. It's like right now they're doing whack-a-mole because they knew they were so close that we would never know in history what happened.
Video.
But guess what?
They
now
found whack-a-mole stock footage.
Whack-a-mole stock footage, people. You know it's a serious legal brief you're being given here with stock footage whack-a-mole.
You're all going to know, and when you watch this and you get through it, at the end I'm going to tell you what you can all do, and we're going to start our show right now, and you guys are going to be absolutely amazed. And now,
so that was his opener. We haven't even started.
Yeah.
We're 12.5 minutes in, and he's told us nothing of substance.
Nothing. What? He's just throwing numbers at us.
Yeah.
That he didn't tell us where they came from, and that also that they're bullshit. So
Yeah.
what's this? What was this?
I don't know.
What is he doing?
Oh, Mike, you fucking strange little beast. God, he's such a fucking weirdo. Anyway,
Yeah, for those of you joining us late, we are watching this at 1.5 speed, but really watching it at 1 speed, he's not any more coherent.
Yeah. And he's not even talking that quickly when it's at 1.5 speed. There's one bloke who doesn't sound like I've sped him up at all. Like, he genuinely sounds like he's talking it now, which gives you an indication of how fucking stultifyingly boring these dense fucks are. Jesus.
all we have with
Like, fascism used to be at least entertaining. Hitler, give him his due, entertaining.
I'm stepping away from Kevin.
No, bad person,
No,
obviously.
Yeah.
But, you know, at least
No.
he gave a bit of fucking oof. He
Part of
shouted. He belted
Part of
it out.
demagoguery. Yeah,
Yeah.
part of demagoguery is that cult of personality and being able to whip up a crowd into a
Yeah.
frenzy.
And aesthetics. Make it look good. Get Hugo Boss in to do your fucking uniforms and shit, right? That sort of thing. This is a boring man in a boring suit, boringly presenting shit information.
Is he wearing a striped shirt?
No, I think that's just creases.
Okay.
Look, he's
Almost-
hunched over.
Yeah, good posture.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. You can tell from the way the lapels sort of pop up. He's kind of...
Yes.
He's sat like
The
Donald
shadow.
Trump, really, I suppose.
Mhm.
Yeah. Rurikets, if you ask to go out again, I'm going to knock you the fuck out. Yeah, you lie the fuck down.
with us, Colonel Phil Waldron.
Yeah, so my background in the military is with influence operations, information operations.
This was the guy before who claimed to have gone through a certain military course, and then the base that provides that course said, no, he didn't get through it at all.
Thank you for that fact check, by the way, because they don't provide that.
No.
So he's talking shit.
Yeah, he's talking
This guy.
shit. He doesn't know what he's on about. But
Most of this you'll never say is this is what happened and here's the data to prove it. They just talked about what can happen and what could happen. I'm pretty sure.
Look at that. Look at the season S. Sorry, I'm on normal latency, so it takes a little while, but that's thank you for all of those. God, I'm an easily entertained fool.
Information warfare, if you will.
You know, what we're talking about here today is specific, these machines that were used to hack into our election and by foreign countries, including China. And what did you kind of bring us up through the election for yourself, and then how you've gotten so involved right now?
Yeah, we began looking, working with our partners in Dallas at Allied Security Operations Group with doing some analysis on the data that they had, looking at not only Dominion, but ESNS and HART, several of the other electronic voting management systems. And we saw a lot of similarities and vulnerabilities in the systems that would be easily influenceable or easily interdicted. And again, as a
Also, don't listen to what this man's saying because it's false. Again, citation needed for all of it. But look at Mike Lindell. I think I've pointed out the weird licking of his lips.
Oh, don't make me look at that.
When sped up, it looks, I'll be honest, it looks like he's giving cunnilingus to the invisible woman.
I guess this is parody at this point in terms of fair use claims.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Warfare officer, that's what I did. I looked for vulnerabilities and ways to attack systems to create a strategic advantage for U.S. friendly forces. And so when we started seeing vulnerabilities and all the different ways that you could interdict this these electronic voting systems, it became apparent that we had a problem for the November 3rd election. And that prompted us to spend a lot of time working with Russ Ramsland getting a lot of the historical data, the knowledge. We started working on our own, really doing a lot of connecting the money exercises, doing basic investigative research. And then I brought in our local DHS team here in Texas, both the Intelligence and Assessments Division.
There it is.
Which
Come on now, Mark.
for the Department of Homeland Security, and the CISA.
There you go.
Take it to heaven,
And
Mike.
we spent quite a bit of time giving them an introduction to what we saw and the vulnerabilities and the ways that these systems could be interdicted to change election outcomes at the machine level, the server level, fraud at the local level, which is required to induce
Now, weird cut.
illegitimate ballots.
Yeah, completely unnecessary. Just he's still in the room on his own. You didn't need to show us that.
Yeah, why not show the person talking? And also, yes, that does look a bit, yeah. And the other thing too is, again, I want to point out for criticism purposes that he keeps talking about hypotheticals. He doesn't talk about actual things. Again, just because something could happen doesn't mean it did. Not evidence.
Correct. It's not evidence.
Nope.
Someone's sending me a thing. I think there's from Grammarly, so I assume.
Is it cancelled can be spelled with one L?
Probably. It's Rurikats, I'm going to fuck you up, boy. Stop now. I think you was shut up, Kristi.
Thanks, Kev. Well, then again, you would say shut up, Kev, if...
Yeah, exactly. Just whoever happened to be speaking. Get Grammarly for free. Fuck off. Snow day cancelled. Example, drummer has food poison, performance cancelled.
That'll explain why my Alexa gave me double L's, because she speaks British English.
Cancelled or cancelled is the past tense of cancel. Both spellings are correct. Americans favour the single L. Well,
right, but
that means it's fucking wrong then.
Cancellation is double L's.
Exactly. You're just wrong, America.
Rory got his way in the end. Rory got Kevin to do what he wanted.
He's gonna fucking eat my arm. He's jumped up 3 or 4 times and fucking bit me, the little bastard. No, he doesn't do much damage or anything. He's not trying to hurt me. He just wants to get my attention, but it's supremely annoying.
It worked.
Yeah.
It worked. He's got you very well trained.
He has. Where are we?
Then you've got the machine level, which is kind of what you were talking about, the algorithms that are directly input into the tabulators, and we have evidence of that in Ware County, Georgia. That
You're still looking at his tongue.
Of course I am.
They basically stole.
He's sending me wild.
From President Trump and put that 13% of the vote into the category for former Vice President Biden, which made a 26% shift in the vote. And so when you look at the machine level,
I'm beginning to think it's less cunnilingus, more tossing the salad.
Well, I'm going to defer to your expertise on that, Kev.
Well, yeah. They don't call me the chef for nothing.
For Dominion or ES&S, there's so many vulnerabilities in the systems. There's so many fundamental cybersecurity practices that are not enabled that it basically allows anybody who has some technical ability and the want to go and influence our elections. Wow. And sort of that strategic level is foreign intelligence services. And we've got pretty much documented Communist Chinese Party ownership of the private equity firm whose board controls Dominion. We've got Chinese communist, the president of the Chinese Communist Bank, who is a board of directors member of a private equity firm that owns Dominion.
You could show us that?
Yep.
Could have shown us that at any point in the last 3 months, and you haven't done that.
Yes. Also, one person who happens to be Chinese sitting on a board that funds a bunch of businesses, including that one, doesn't mean that it's run by the Chinese.
No.
Just saying. Like, who is this person? Name names. Because the last time, people are getting sued for billions of dollars for naming names on Fox.
Yeah. Like I say, Mike's decided to just go fucking mental with it and just, I don't care. I'm rich enough that they can sue me for $4 billion and I could probably absorb it or something. I don't know how much money he has. Actually, let's look at it up. Mike Lindell.
Worth.
Oh, 300 million. Oh, no, he can't absorb that shit.
No.
He needs to fucking chill out. Jesus Christ, Mike.
That was 2018. He's lost a lot of business since then.
Yeah, Bed Bath & Beyond have fucked him.
Mm-hmm. That whole list that they put up for us.
That entire list, yeah.
Wow. And then if you look at the testing company, the only company that has the access to the code and the testing for Dominion is in Shenzhen, China. It's a Communist Chinese Party company. The U.S. government, the state governments, the county governments, they don't have access to Dominion code. But I think it's kind of unique that a Chinese company that's run by the CCP does have access to the code, and that's why we started seeing at that strategic level, that third tier
Not
of election
true.
manipulation.
These things are not true.
Just not again.
Not true.
Needed. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of movements of votes, direct access to Pennsylvania voting precincts, county tabulation centers. The fact that everyone says that, well, there was all these court cases and all the court cases were lost. Well, that's a lie. I mean, we've got statistics on how many court cases were open.
Why is the screen frozen?
How many were dismissed for for standing or procedural, but there's only, to my knowledge, 2 cases, one in Michigan and one in Georgia, where evidence has been heard, and those cases are progressing forward.
Oh, I think that's the shit website, sorry. Yeah. Also, yeah, they're lying. Many of them were removed because of lack of evidence. They took a look at the evidence, went, you have nothing, get out of my courtroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Senate in Arizona has heard and seen preliminary evidence, and they've issued a subpoena, and they're pressing forward with a full forensic audit in Arizona, and that could be forthcoming as early as this coming week.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
So it is complex, and it's hard for people to understand. And if it's hard to understand, people just dismiss it as conspiracy theory, where it's cyber warfare and unconventional asymmetric warfare conducted by a peer threat nation state against the United States government critical infrastructure.
No, it's still a conspiracy theory.
Nope. Yeah.
Just because you've made it,
that's garbage.
Yeah, just because you've made it sound complicated doesn't mean it's also still not a conspiracy theory.
Yeah. Just putting out about this, these things could happen, and this is a possibility, and these countries don't like us, therefore this stuff happened. No, that's not how it works.
It is complex, and it's hard for people to understand. And if it's hard to understand, people just dismiss it as conspiracy theory, where it's cyber warfare and unconventional asymmetric.
Yeah, you're repeating yourself.
Yes, he is.
Warfare conducted by a peer threat nation state against the United States government critical infrastructure.
The whole country seen when they shut everything down. And
yeah, did you see any evidence there?
I think that no, but also I think that was literally Mike in the edit put that same clip right after itself again.
Maybe that might be the case. That might be the case.
Because that sounded word for word the exact same, in the same cadence and everything.
I mean, it's not a good editing job.
No.
And apparently they didn't watch it back themselves.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
at night that was a deviation. You probably expected this, right?
We were watching. We found the foreign servers in Barcelona and the UK and in Frankfurt.
The UK, why are you dragging us into it now?
Yeah, they're all over the world: Iran, Pakistan, Venezuela, China, Maine.
Also, we're out of the EU now, so leave us alone. Okay, you can't tie us to weird Italian server bots or whatever the fuck it was.
Several, the one in Toronto, obviously with Dominion.
So 100% proof that the servers are overseas in other people's countries for our election?
Yes, we were mapping out the servers before the elections. We identified the Seidel server in Frankfurt down to the street address. Frankfurt has, I think it's either the largest or one of the world's largest server nodes, a cyber node, a communications node. It's called DE for Germany, DE-NIX. And there were several folks watching the traffic and the volume.
No, DE-NIX was Germany's foremost Stevie Nicks impersonator.
Yes. Also, watching what traffic? Like...
the fucking traffic going by in your street, ironically timed.
Yeah, because I mean, what they get down to, like, is it like phone wires? I mean, how like an electric box or something? Like, how can you see like information coming from specific counties, even if you could? And certainly, if there was going to be a lot of traffic increase on election day, that would make sense if there was just more people online because it was election day.
No, they.
So, what kind of traffic are they watching?
They send the actual ballot papers down the tubes.
Yes, they do. Pneumatic tubes
to Frankfurt. For some reason, and then they count them and send them back.
Well, they beam them like the space laser beams when they.
Oh, the Jewish space lasers. Oh, it's all coming together. Marjorie Taylor Greene's so correct about all of this. Obviously, the space lasers, they have two main functions: starting fires and sending ballot papers across oceans.
Exactly, they beam them up and down.
People, I think, will look back in times to come and realise that MTG was sent by God as a truth sayer.
To punish us?
A pestilence. Yeah.
Yes.
A spiritual, cultural, political pestilence.
Mm-hmm.
Volume of traffic that night, and they noticed a significant spike in traffic that night just due to the volume of information going through. And one of the reasons that they said that the traffic was going up was due to the U.S. elections.
In your opinion, this is an attack on foreign countries, is what you're saying.
Such a weird edit job. It was a normal shot, and then a shot from above, and then cut straight back to the mountain. What are you doing? What's the point of that?
Again, it's garbage. Also, look at the
second as well. Look.
Yeah, and look at the frame composition. Why would you the guy on the left is bigger than the guy? Oh, sorry, on the right is bigger than the guy on the left, and then they've got absolute proof. Like, why don't you just split the screen in half and just put them both there?
Yeah.
What? Make it look like a news program.
Yeah.
This just looks like a YouTube
Not
video.
just that, but considering there's all of this space here between the two, what you could do is just enlarge both of those images and have the absolute proof in the middle. So basically, the absolute proof could stay exactly where it is, although you might want to size it down slightly, and then just enlarge those two big images so it's all the screen is filled, rather than having the top of the earth,
third of it,
just a little bit of the earth there, and then some swooshy lines, which just looks shit. And they haven't even cropped this image properly, because you can still see the white line of the
on the top of it,
look,
of the editing.
Awful.
And nobody can read that font at the top or the bottom, especially not the bottom, because it's so blended in.
Yeah, because that looks
garbage.
like Mike Indy, because the two L's are too, and the I's a bit skinny as well.
And hay farming?
Yeah, Fang with 3 N's? I don't know. It's odd. Anyway, Mike, you're shit at this, mate. You provided no evidence, and you can't even make it look good.
Nope.
You're worse than Hitler, Mike.
You really need to pay people money to do this for you.
Yeah.
You can't do this yourself.
Yeah. By the way,
can't get your nephew to edit it together for you.
Yeah. For legal reasons, he's worse at presentation than Adolf Hitler. I'm not suggesting he has killed any number of Jewish people.
Hey, chat, remind me when it's 15 minutes to the hour, because that's when I gotta dip.
Oh no, you got plenty of time. It's 9:10.
Yeah, we're gonna get at least 15 or 30 minutes into this.
Well, good luck
from
with
what
that.
I've seen in the witnesses that I've talked to, that this is a coup that it definitely involved elements inside our own country and inside our own federal
Well, if there
government.
were coups involved, then surely it was being carried by carrier pigeon.
Coop.
Coup.
Definitely part of the coup that was aided and abetted by a foreign threat nation state, a peer enemy nation state, China.
Do you believe that this attack from other countries could not have happened without people here, domestic traders, basically?
Yeah, I believe that. Again, we have affidavits
no evidence.
Of CIA and State Department personnel out of the Italian embassy participating.
Oh, this is my favourite one. This was part of the same conspiracy that said the Pope had been arrested.
Oh yeah, on the White House grounds or something, or it was they were arrested by the United States, right?
Yeah, arrested by the United States in Rome.
Yeah.
Along with these CIA people in Rome, and you think, no, these are nutters. There's one woman who was an Italian who did some part-time work for a CIA office, who said some dumb shit.
All right, so what is what's the story? Is this just an Italian staffer who said some dumb shit?
Yeah. It's one woman. I can't remember her name, but she's a woman who worked. She's an Italian national who's done some work for America in their office in Rome, and she came out and said some dumb shit. But she also said, the Pope had been arrested. But just for clarification's sake, at the time of the time of broadcast here, the Pope has not been arrested.
No, I've not seen that on Twitter today.
At least in part because he's the head of a foreign sovereign nation, so I don't even know how legally you would be able to do that. But, I mean, I suppose America doesn't care about dealing legally with foreign national leaders, but you get the idea. There are Catholics in America that might be a little peeved by that, so they probably wouldn't in that case. But even so, the Pope is still very much free to go about defending pedophiles and stuff. So, good times.
In this coup, we have a name, email, and phone number of a senior DOJ official from a U.S. attorney that said that this individual was shutting down any DOJ or FBI investigation into any election-related investigation. And
yeah, because it was a waste of fucking time. Yes, there were people from the DOJ who looked into it when there's nothing here. So all of the idiots, the Trump idiots in the FBI, who were trying to start shit, therefore wasting, vital resources that they need to arrest black people. They were shutting them down, obviously. Yeah,
Bill Barr was this is illegal. You can't do these kinds of things. There's no fraud here. You can't, he got out and he was climbing up Trump's bumhole daily.
Oh, yeah.
And he wouldn't carry this water for him.
Indeed.
Trying to shut down judicial cases, court cases. So from inside our own DOJ, people were shutting down active investigations. You wonder why, Mr. Barr didn't find or see any evidence of widespread election fraud. It's because the FBI never did anything other than to...
Dickhead, Trump sent him a package of your information. Barr saw that information and found that it was a load of old shit. Don't lie.
As did most people who looked at it.
Yeah.
Who have law degrees and are reasonable lawyers.
Yeah, other than Rudy Giuliani and Lee Wood and fucking Sidney Powell. By the way, Sidney, I'm still waiting for that Kraken. Where's that happening? Dick. No wonder people turned away from Q in the end, or some people did. Because it was just the constant, like, we're going to do this thing's going to be amazing. And the goalposts just keep... It's like, literally, like the goalposts are the equivalent of the stick with a carrot attached to the head. And so when you run after it, it just keeps always being ahead of you. It's just nonsense.
Kevin, I want to pitch an idea for a screenplay.
Please do.
A bunch of QAnon people, like 2 or 3 QAnon people, sitting down on some rocks, waiting for the evidence to come, and it's called Waiting for Kraken.
Yes. Yeah, I'll go with that. That's a high culture reference for everybody.
Yeah, waiting for Godot, obviously.
Impede investigations into election fraud. The FBI went to...
Maybe the Kraken was the friends we made along the way.
No.
Question the truck drivers who delivered
ballots. What is he reaching for? Why is that on screen?
The Americans, patriotic Americans who were whistleblowers and prosecuting them. Like you mentioned something earlier, is the machines, the ES&S and Dominion machines. If you look at military planning factors, they're critical capabilities. Capability is what you have to execute your mission, or the enemy has to have to execute its mission successfully. So a critical capability for any of this to happen are the inherent vulnerabilities that were built into ES&S and Dominion software, which is...
You're still going after Dominion, huh?
Yeah, they're going to fuck you up, bro. I don't know what you're doing. Like, literally, they're suing motherfuckers for billions. I'd chill out, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the same, actually. I was watching a thing about sovereign citizens the other day. Even if you think this is true, is it worth going to jail for? Really? Is it worth fucking your entire life up for this? All to satiate the fucking mad ramblings of an orange twat, who, again, has already thrown you fucking idiots under the bus. So who cares?
I don't get the whole sovereign citizen thing.
They are funny, though.
They're extreme.
I'm not driving. I am travelling in my personal conveyance. Yeah, you're going to jail, you idiot. You're going at 200 miles an hour, you prick. What are you doing?
This is all related directly back to the Smartmatic. SGO Smartmatic software core. Wow. And they definitely have financial gains to financial reasons based on some of the other investments that they've made, especially if they, looking down the road, if they make billions and billions of dollars, the board of SGO Smartmatic, because they own an air purification company. So just think about it. If you get to pick an administration that is favorable to your company, say they pass the Green New Deal, and you're going to make billions and billions.
But they're not going to pass he's already said he doesn't want to pass the Green New Deal. He's going to do his own, green thing.
Yeah, conspiracy theories. But this is great. This is their logic. His reasoning, right?
Yeah.
For this, the business plan, the legislation. Just hit play.
Of dollars off of government mandated air purification systems in public buildings and apartment buildings and industrial complexes. You would spend quite a bit of money on the front side.
They're going to make us put charcoal filters in our houses.
Yeah, how does that help anything?
Exactly. What is he talking about? Government mandated air purification systems in your houses and public buildings and what?
It doesn't that make it worse, because that's just going to use electric.
Exactly.
That's actually going to make the situation significantly worse to have one of those in every home.
I don't. What?
Mad. Absolutely fucking insane.
I was watching going, how does that make sense? It doesn't.
Yeah.
Make sure the election was gone. The same thing with China. If China could avoid the U.S. coming to Taiwan's defense, and we've seen indications of that already, and if China could avoid having to fight a campaign to protect their man-made islands to extend their territorial waters into international navigable waterways, if they could invest $1 billion to do that.
Hang on, you were hoping that Trump would win so that he would start a war over man-made islands with China? Is that actually your position? Because so far, the most intelligent thing on this screen is that fucking chair in the background.
Yeah, I think he's talking from the position of the motivation of the Chinese foreign policy here. But
well, yeah, but that would assume that China thought Trump was going to start a war.
Well, no, I think they just thought. I think they think Biden is in with China, and so Biden won't stand up to them or something. I think that's it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, I don't want to try to make sense of this because a lot of this is what.
Yeah.
But
that versus fighting a war. Well, they made a pretty good investment, and all the money that they've made into the Biden family, all the money that they made invested into U.S. universities, businesses, buying up our medical and our technical intellectual property, stealing a lot more than they bought. They are fighting a war, and people just don't realize that we're under attack.
So now we have with us Russell Ramsland. He's a founding member of Allied Security.
No evidence.
He's
just
reading
no
it
evidence.
off his fucking phone.
Phone.
He's not even having the laptop that's obviously not switched on. Like,
I think there's a different laptop. I think there's a silver Apple later on.
Yeah, it's very weird.
But anyway, yeah, there was no evidence presented in that segment. A guy just talked for a while.
Indeed.
He just talked.
Yeah.
That was it.
Operational group. They're based in Dallas, Texas, and they do cyber forensics and security. Russell, how are you involved with all this this election fraud with these machines?
Well, this guy. Okay, pause.
It's been a long road for us. About 2 years.
Pause. What the fuck is that in his background? What is hanging on this man's wall?
It's some sort of. It looks like a fake bear pelt or something with
but,
black fringe.
Yeah, but why isn't the fringe around? The tail is loose. Is that what's there's? Maybe it's felt bottom with some sort of animal. But
Felt
again,
bottom jeans with the furs. Go on.
Yeah, and again, the shot composition and his haircut. I'm sorry, but that little mullet he's growing on the back.
Yeah, unnecessary. Also, just some random wires and shit in the background, I think. There.
Yes, this looks great.
Excellent professional stuff.
Ago, we had some logs from the Dallas general election brought to us from the central tabulation server, and people ask, what do these logs mean?
They haven't even got the swirly background. It's just black. Just
And
two massive black bits of nothingness on the screen.
And can I complain about the audio? The audio is awful.
Atrocious, yeah.
Like, that bear is probably the only thing absorbing sound waves in that room. Everything else is bouncing around.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Indeed.
About 1,100 pages, and we got looking at them, and we were horrified at what we found. Because what we found was that people were getting into the system, and they were changing the votes. They were erasing databases, they were reloading them.
Small
and
focus
it was coming
in there.
from remote locations.
Yeah.
And our guys
Lips are going again.
Now this is in 2018 when so these guys came to you with these, and these were voting machines, and were they Dominion machines?
No. We use ES&S in Dallas, not Dominion.
So are they similar machines?
Yes. Yeah, it's very similar stuff. Most of these voting companies all have similar DNA in their original.
So if they all have the same thing, then surely it's all corrupt, and therefore we can throw out Donald Trump's
Everything.
2016 win.
Yeah, just gonna drag ESS into this now too. Great.
Yeah.
They're just like Dominion.
Yeah, they're all cheaters. Let's just throw so much mud at the wall that there's no wall left. It's just a mountain of mud.
Okay. But what you've seen was it horrified you.
Yeah, it did, because clearly somebody was playing with the election.
Wow.
So we tried to get the authorities alerted. We brought in a DOJ prosecutor that ran the cyber group in North Texas, and she was horrified at what we showed her. And she asked us to put it together and eventually submit it to the FBI.
Stock
we did
footage.
that, and they did nothing. So we continued to investigate, and the more we found, the more horrifying it got. Now, this all was still coming out of Dallas.
City.
We tried to get senators to look at this, and we tried to get state officials to look at this, but we continued to work on it on our own. We had no client at all. And eventually, we did get 7 members of the Freedom Caucus this last July to take a 2-hour briefing without staff.
Yeah, even most of the Freedom Caucus, the far right, didn't want anything to do with that.
You got to
7 of them went there.
You've got to time your biscuit consumption a bit more neatly. You're smacking like Carl.
I will say to you what I would say if someone in the audience said that. Eat my asshole.
Not tonight.
Okay, we'll book an appointment. My people will ring your people. We'll sort something out.
And what they saw was absolute proof that this electronic voting system that we have is completely compromised. It can be completely manipulated. And they were horrified.
We've all heard that Texas...
He sounds like an old-timey person as well. Not from the 20s or some shit.
Well, it's that Texas accent. I think there's like, oh, brother, where art thou kind of
vibe
to him. Also, he sounds like he's talking in a metal room, and you can hear his voice ringing and echo behind him. And that's also, poor acoustics sometimes you get on those old-timey recordings.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Deny these machines.
Well, Texas denied Dominion, but Texas uses other voting machines. We use HART, and we use ES&S.
No, but Texas used those voting machines. Hey, he sounds old-timey, is my point.
Like a prospector?
Kinda.
Yes, in Texas.
Right.
Same.
So why would Texas, they denied these Dominion ones, and in your opinion, so they must have looked at them and said, there's something there we don't like, but then they over here with Smartmatic and these other ones, they were okay with that? Why would be your opinion of why one they deny one machine because they're afraid of election fraud, and over here they accepted that one?
I think that it sometimes has more to do with politics and influence, who gets through and who doesn't, than necessarily the machines.
Okay.
So we finally ended up with some investigators, with Ron Johnson's Security Oversight Group.
More.
Yeah. Also, a little shout out there for Ron Johnson. I know you're a fan.
Yeah. Let's get him out. Resign. Either recall him or boot him out in 2022.
Yep.
He's up now.
Yeah. He's from the great state of Wisconsin.
Well, it would be a greater state if he wasn't our senator.
True.
And they were horrified at what we showed them, and they tried to get CISA, which is the Cyber Intelligence Security Administration inside the DHS.
This cunt's swinging around on his chair as well.
CISA would not take the briefing. They couldn't be less interested. So
because you've got nothing.
Yes.
You keep making this into some they won't listen to our information. No, they've listened to your information. It's nonsense. The fact that they're then telling you to fucking leave, that's not a conspiracy. That means you've got nothing.
Yeah, just walking up and saying, hey, we think that there are these security issues. And they're like, well, you might think that, but we don't. That's it.
Yeah, not just that, but he's talking about Texas. Trump won Texas.
Yes.
I really don't know what you're complaining about there. Now, that doesn't mean that if there was some fraud happening in a state that he wanted, that needs to be looked at and all the rest of it, but clearly that didn't cost him the election, did it?
Not in Texas.
Very strange.
We didn't quite know what to do. We were beginning to find some media people who wanted to start talking about this, and they became appalled. But the break really came in early August when we got some DHS people in Austin with the INA division, the Intelligence and Analysis division down there, to take a look at what we had. That's the division that used to have voter integrity before it was handed to CISA. So they looked at it, and they were horrified, and they sent a whole team to our shop. We spent 11 hours with them. They asked us if we would give them our data. We said, of course. And so we gave them all our data. They took it back to Austin, and unknown to us, they gave it to 3 private cyber groups that they used and said, hey, are these guys crazy? I mean, is this nuts, or is there something here? Well, all 3 groups looked at it, and all 3 groups came back. Not only is it right, it's horrifying.
Okay, I want to ask you there, when you say horrified, can you explain to everybody watching this right now?
Random cut.
Just point to the citation needed sign, not any of that.
Yeah, this is fantasy.
Yeah. And by the way, cause the only link they link to underneath the thing here, by the way, is from this Fanning woman, whoever her name is. It's like this American blah, blah, right? And I just want to point out, that again, no citations are actually given. It's just a long block thing, right? But look at the kinds of other articles that are published on theamericanreport.org. You've got Joe Biden and Joe Stalin. Naturally. You've got cloning the vote. Did Dems use hammer and then a hammer and sickle thing?
Kevin, we'll look at the one with the Joe Biden and the scorecard. Read that out.
Scorecard. Release the Kraken. Hammer/scorecard. Whistleblower Montgomery gave sworn testimony to FBI and DOJ about scorecard Dominion Smartmatic in 2015. That is an amazing kind of sentence.
There's a lot of nouns in it.
There are letters clumped together. Watch the Kraken proves domestic traitors and foreign enemies attempted to steal America's election. I don't think this is an enormously newsworthy source.
New.
And yet it is literally the only source underneath.
They link.
That they link underneath. And in case anyone wondering, I got this link to this from Mike's website, because Mike's website player is so shit I couldn't play the bastard. But it sent me to this version of it. So MikeLindell.com, blah, 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 all the rest of it. So this is an embed from that.
What horrified you? Was it the fact they could go online?
Well, there's no effective security at all for your votes. Your votes are stored overseas where they can be easily...
Wait a minute, they're stored overseas?
Yes. Yeah.
They're stored overseas. What a ridiculously inefficient way of doing anything. Why would you store it? What? Oh,
yeah.
So
why would you go from Ashwaubenon, Wisconsin, and store information in Frankfurt there's a paper copy for in Ashwaubenon?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
And the UK and Spain and Italy and China and North Korea and Venezuela. Was there a country on Earth that wasn't involved in this?
Maybe, yeah. Start with the people who didn't get involved.
The people of Tanzania were not involved. Okay, you're in the clear, Tanzania. Go sit in the other queue. Go on. You're okay. You get a lollipop.
27 states use what's called Clarity Cycle election night reporting, and those servers are overseas. They have what are called S3 bucket vulnerabilities, and people can get in and change the votes there, and then they can load them all the way back down to the county level here in this country because Cycle gets all the credentials from every single county server here, and so they can get into every single county server and change the votes here from overseas.
Citation needed.
So everything that everybody's been talking about out there that they've tried
Why
to
have they got Mike
Lindell
Lindell's name just pops up on the screen? Like, we know. It's there. Fucking hell. Sorry.
He's definitely not using his laptop now.
No. So they said, for the opening bit of this interview, look at the laptop that isn't switched on and pretend like he's talking to you from the laptop. Because obviously he's not on that laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that is sarcastically mass. Do they expect him to spill that beverage? Because that's a big fucking map.
The machines weren't even online. And you're saying
it is.
That 27 states use this.
As coasters go, that's a piss take, isn't it? Come on.
Servers are overseas, so these can go over there, and they can change the vote to anything they want and send it back cyberly.
Cyberly.
Wow.
So they became, the DHS people in Austin realized what we were telling them was correct. They became horrified, and they began to try to have a series of classified briefings within their own group in order to push this.
The lips thing again. Like, does he have the driest mouth in the world? What the fuck?
I know. Get some Burt's Beeswax lip balm there, Mike. You can afford it. Go buy a case.
Or just hydrate properly. If you've got a drying out issue, it's probably hydration related.
Up the chain. And they got about one or two levels up, and then they met a solid wall of resistance that basically said, leave it alone, don't pursue it.
So is this guy more or less creepy than the state of Wisconsin when that started? I don't know.
I think it's creepier when it's just the one guy talking.
Yeah.
It's just random in the Wisconsin thing. Like, you kind of didn't notice it at first, but this time it just sort of banged in there like, hello, I'm music.
They're not even fading it in. It's just nothing. Boom. There it is.
Piano.
What do you think? Now we're telling the facts on the show here, but in your mind, why would they do that?
The facts.
Why would they do that in your mind?
I don't know, Mike.
You can't explain it. I mean, this is okay. So then
this is like some music rejected by Jaws.
What was that when it got stopped?
I just had a thought. How did everybody get to the hangout tonight, Kev?
How did everyone get to the hangout tonight? Via also blep.
Cyberly.
Yeah, they got here cyberly. They did. I demand a recount on my viewer numbers.
Yes.
It was September.
Wow. Get close to the election. Okay.
Wow.
Close to the election. So what actually happened in this election, this stolen election, we already knew was going to happen. We already had seen it. We knew it was all possible. We knew it was all out there. Now, we didn't know how many foreign servers. Before, we weren't seeing very many foreign servers come in and change votes. But in this election, of course, we saw thousands from all over the world.
That music's ridiculous. And then they put random
code.
It's random codey stuff on the screen. That's dangerous.
I mean, look at this. It's like, bracket A8 ref pricing class J selected navigation item header name. Marketplace. Oh, it's so scary.
Yeah. But that one's trending, developers, integrations, feature code.
Wow. Whoa. I'm terrified.
It'd be quite funny if one of them was just like China trending or something.
Well, it's stock footage, so clearly they just took whatever they could get for free.
Yeah. Well, you don't get to 300 million by wasting money on stock footage.
No, clearly not.
No.
thousands. All right, you've seen all these hacks. Have you actually seen that with your own eyes?
We have seen the data.
Then the world appears. What?
At the end. Oh, they're going to use that again later.
Yeah, the Earth just appeared. Okay.
Down, you knew it was going to happen. Is it exactly what you thought was going to happen?
Yeah, we thought it was going to happen on 3 levels. We thought there would be massive local cheating. We thought there would be cheating through the actual voting companies themselves, whether it's them or someone else manipulating them. And we thought that there would be cheating from...
So regardless of the result, if it went badly for you, cheating.
Yes.
I would have been genuinely fascinating to see the alternate universe where Trump won this election, to see how like no one's heard of Dominion voting machines.
No,
because
they didn't have to, timeline.
They didn't have to make shop.
No.
But also, apologies for the horrific nonsense that's going on in your alternate universe to the people there.
Yeah, and again with the poor sizing of the screens here.
Yeah.
It's being injected from overseas, and that's exactly what we saw happen.
Wow.
And we developed huge.
Stop saying "wow," you prick.
Proof on this, but no court case was ever allowed.
It's a court.
Ever allowed it to be presented. So that sort of gave fodder to this media myth that it didn't exist. But
various of the cases, the judges looked at the fucking evidence and there was nothing. Stop lying.
I'm stuck on the editing. I can't.
Rarely in like official kind of legal briefs and stuff do you get video of people with bearskins on the wall.
No, that's not too common. But it's just, why would you drop in that stock footage of a courtroom because he said the word court? It was one word, and also it doesn't add anything. Why was that in there? Why at all? Why? I don't understand.
Because I think we're trying to make sense of this, whereas he's just an idiot.
Yeah, whoever edits like, oh, there's a. I'll search on every word. Oh, court. I can put in stock footage of that.
Yeah. Or Mike paid, $29.99 to join a stock footage website.
Yes.
And they just searched out their entire database. Just use as much as we can.
Yes.
Yeah.
It trolled all the metadata keyword finding things they could do.
Exactly. Well, we already know the part of that database is whack-a-mole.
Yes. The whack-a-mole video. They looked that up.
Yeah.
It does exist. It's out there. It's unbelievable. It's massive.
Wow. Did everybody hear that? What Russell's saying here? This is what everyone says. Well, there was no evidence. So you're saying no judges would look at the evidence. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
No, judges looked at the evidence. There wasn't enough to even warrant giving you a trial.
Yeah, like sometimes you didn't have standing, and sometimes Rudy Giuliani got up and said, Your Honor, this is not a case about fraud.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Rudy Giuliani wasn't even claiming there was fucking fraud.
Yeah.
Whilst at the same time, outside of the thing, giving interviews going on about how communists and dead Venezuelans were taking over America. Like, it's just nonsense.
Yeah, he wanted to object to the fact that state Supreme Courts reviewed the decisions made in the Corona time and how it worked with the law. And they went, yeah, that's fine. And Rudy wanted the federal courts to go, no, you can't. But that's nothing to do with fraud.
Indeed.
Now, we don't know why. I mean, it wasn't because there wasn't evidence. They didn't even want to look at it. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Now, we've also, in fact, on the show, the Antrim County in Michigan. Weren't you guys contacted to look into that?
That was our work. I actually signed the forensic audit report. And because our guys did that, are part of our team. And that came about because there was a down ballot race, and the judge allowed some limited discovery. What came out of that was appalling enough that he allowed further discovery. And then, of course, that report went national because what we found was so horrifying.
Right.
We covered the Antrim County thing. It was a clerical error that was quickly discovered and corrected. And even if every single vote in Antrim County had been for Donald Trump, he still would have lost Michigan by about 80,000 fucking votes. So
it was literally human error, and they locked in something incorrectly, and then they went back and fixed it because they had the votes. They could count them.
Hey, for everybody out there, what we've all heard, this Antrim County in Michigan.
Yeah, you've all heard it because it was the only case you can find where there was even anything vaguely suspicious, because the numbers did get flipped. But it was a clerical error by a human being, not by a machine, that was spotted and corrected.
Yeah. Yep. Which proves the system works.
Yeah.
And in the show here, you've seen it. We've had this is the reason it was talked about so much, because this is a small county.
10 minutes, Krista.
And it was like 15,000 some people voted, and it was 7,000 some votes flipped. I mean, so it was so obvious. we had 65% Republican and 35% Democrat normally, and it was completely flipped. So everybody in the town knew it was a deviation that didn't make sense. And so Russell, this case is still open. That's correct, right?
That is correct.
Okay,
no, it isn't.
Can I ask you this? So what you've seen there is exactly what you knew was going to happen, and now were you able to look at other places? What was different about Antrim County? Now that
That's
we
a
all
different Michigan one.
Yeah.
It's got the name on it.
Changing it up.
Ooh, fancy. That database has got some very, very interesting
Varied.
choices.
Real diverse choices.
get into the,
unlike America. Ayo.
The forensics of it and see all this. Have you been able to do that in any other places in the United States since then, or since this election ended in November?
Actually, on a limited basis, we have been able to go into 2 other counties. We have not published that information yet, and there are reasons why we aren't publishing that information right now.
Which has nothing to do with the fact that we found nothing.
And also, the election ended on November 6th.
Yeah.
That's when it ended. Just remind people.
Yeah. Also, dude, you can't be like, no, we've got legitimate reasons to not publish information. No, if you're claiming this is the theft of America, publish your information.
Let's see it. Where is the evidence? We are 35 minutes in, no evidence.
You've got
He threw some tables at us.
Nothing. You've got nothing.
Yep.
You're sat there trying to bluff us out at the poker table. You haven't even got cards in your hand. You got nothing.
And also your tell is when you lick your lips.
Exactly. Exactly. You're sat there naked. There's nothing. You've got
jacket down.
Yeah, exactly. You got fuck all. Anyway.
But both of them have not only confirmed, they have confirmed that it's even worse than in Antrim.
Well, publish the information then. If
Yes.
it's that bad, tell us.
Show us. Show us now.
Almost like these are fucking mendacious little pricks just making up any old shit they want to try and push a narrative, again, for the benefit of one human being, and I loathe to call him that, but technically he is, the orange fucking golf course alligator in fucking Florida.
Yep. They had we had 35 minutes to give us evidence. They haven't. They just talked about stuff.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it doesn't get any better. They also, by the way, I don't know if you got that far, they bring up our favourite Melissa Carone.
No, I didn't get that far.
Oh, yeah, she appears.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And they film her. Again, I think you need to watch it because the editing will literally drive you insane. She most of the time, I'll try and show for everyone on the camera, right? Like, you can view that way, but if you're going to talk to another person, you talk a little bit of Scott.
Right.
Most of the interview, she's like that. You see a profile of her fucking face. It's the most infuriating. You're just like, dickhead. Sit closer or something. Or maybe they want a social distance. I doubt it. But whatever. Just turn properly so you can see like a 3/4 profile rather than fucking 50% of your fucking head. Nonsense. Anyway.
See, Kevin's inner critic. I'm bringing it out.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I'm shit. But I'm basic shit. That's, like, ridiculous. That's like you're actively trying to make it look bad. It's so awful.
Okay, did everybody hear that? What we have
More
here,
music.
And Russell can't disclose this because every time something pops up, it gets buried out there. Things happen. This is the most attack on our country, and I'm telling you, ever.
This is the most attack on our country, and I mean ever. Imagine that sentence.
Yeah.
This is the most attack on our country, and I mean ever. I wonder why this guy chimes with Trump so much.
Again, there was no second takes.
No.
There were no second takes on this. And also, here is we've been promising you evidence. This guy has the most, but he can't show it to you because when we do things, they come down on us, and this is the biggest attack. That doesn't explain.
No, it's not the biggest. No, you've corrected it. It's not the biggest attack. It's the most. Can I get some M's in chat for the most attack on the country? I mean,
most attack. The most attack.
Amazing. What a sense. It's a beautiful wordsmith, isn't he? It's like Shakespeare never really died.
I see why he and Trump get on.
Yeah.
I've got about 4 minutes left.
And that's why, it's getting suppressed everywhere. So what he's saying, 2 other places. Now, is this breaking news right now? You're saying right now you have 2 other places, and what you're seeing is even worse than you could ever imagine?
Well, it's just like Antrim, only it's worse in many ways.
What the fuck? These two idiots. It's like two kids in the playground. Oh, this thing was even worse. Oh no, this thing was worse. It was like the same thing but worse. It was the most attack on the country ever.
My favorite. I don't think I'm gonna make it. I just realized that my favorite part of this interview is when the guy on the right goes,
Well, we'll see if we can get to that.
Antrim, what people need to understand, real simple, Mike. When people vote and they scan their ballot in, it either goes into the regular sort of bucket and gets voted, or else it goes into what's called an adjudication bucket. If it goes into the adjudication bucket, then whoever's running the voting system gets to vote that vote however they want. Well, in Antrim, we found ballot rejection rates of 82%. 82%? 82% of the ballots were going to adjudication.
And what's the normal number? I mean, is there a normal number for an election that would be what percentage, and what would be it on the high end?
Well, certainly less than 1% would be, should ever go to adjudication.
Wow, less than 1%, everybody. And this was 85%.
No, he said 82%. Just for clarification, yeah. Did you hear the 170% that went to adjudication, Kristi?
Yes, well, and in Fulton County, the Fulton County people themselves admitted to a 93.6% adjudication rate.
It is going up.
That means the entire election was decided by the people that ran the system, not by the voters.
And what you're talking about there this is another way these machines can you can cheat through the front or cheat there, but this does not count what you're talking about earlier, the cyber forensics where that goes overseas to these servers that are all based over there, correct?
That does not. That's a different issue altogether.
Right. So both of them involve the machines, everybody. The one we've talked about in the show is here. But then the cyber one is what you just heard from Russell, which he said earlier. This is all the attack by the other countries that hacked in, which we're going to show you that proof now that Russell doesn't even know that we have. That's going to show who did it, the time they did it, the computer they did it off it, everything. If we would have never found out, or this would never have gotten what we're
getting close to it, by the way.
What would the future have looked like in elections?
Well, I mean, we're basically approaching Venezuela, where it doesn't matter.
Right. Somebody else picks our people for them, so why vote, right? I mean, that's the way it would have been. Machines that go online, and it's not. Now, you said earlier, it's not just Dominion; it's all the machines that were used in this election. Is that what you would say?
Yes, that's absolutely a fair statement. All the machines. For these people that say it's not online, we have videos of workers with poll books who are swiping left on their poll book and bringing up Netflix and getting a movie and watching it on their poll book. How does that happen if it's not connected to the internet?
Right.
We have affidavits of a election judge who showed up at her precinct, found to her horror they had loaded the wrong precinct in her equipment, called her voting company, and her voting company put her on hold, and the help desk from another state called in, and in 10 minutes somehow reloaded her poll books from another state with the correct
There's
precinct.
The graphic.
How does that happen if it's not connected to the internet?
Well, I know they were all online, but is it illegal for them to be online?
Well, it depends. Some places, yes, some places, no. I mean, the assurance is that you can trust the voting system because they're not online, but they are most clearly online.
I got you.
Clearly online.
We ran through a different group here, a little operation in Dallas during this last election. And let me describe the operation so you'll understand the magnitude of what I'm telling you. What we did is every day we just took the information on the voter records of the people who voted that day in Dallas. Dallas posts them online. So you get a big, big, long record of this voter. You don't see how he voted, but you see everything else. Name, where he lives, when he asked for a ballot, where he voted, his residence address, on and on and on. And all of those, as you know, are comprised of zeros and ones. That's how computers work. So all we did is we would add up all the zeros and ones in that voter record and store it. And then we would watch what would happen to that voter record as we worked our way through early voting. Mike, we saw 57,000 votes get their voter records changed during early election alone in Dallas, Texas.
Wow.
We saw a 10-block long street in Dallas, Texas get every single vote wiped out and then subsequently replaced one at a time with clearly something changed because the hash, in other words, its record of the zeros and ones had been changed. And so we know it was tampered with.
Wow.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Was it nationwide that this happened?
Yes.
Okay. And you've seen the cyber forensics that show that. We will show that too. But I just want to ask you, why did they set these machines then to win Texas too? I mean, or do you, what would be your opinion on that, and why they didn't set them high enough to win Texas too?
Well, there had been a certain amount of concern raised in Texas as a result of our 2018 work. Pete Sessions actually filed a complaint in Texas and published a paper on it because his race got stolen. And so they were very well aware.
So they were scared that you'd been found out, but they also were they still wanted to do some fraud though, so you'd definitely find it.
Yeah, I'm not going to get the
okay.
But I tried. Hey, thanks for having me on. Enjoy the rest. Hey, when I get done, you might still be here.
Very possibly. Yeah, thanks for popping on, and go and subscribe to Kristi, everyone. Links are below.
Yes, and we'll talk as we do in the messages. And bye, everyone.
Bye.
Catch you later. Bye.
There we go. So now it's officially a sausage party. Just me, Mike, and whoever this fucking twat is. How are we, everyone, by the way? Now Kristi's gone. I need to be louder. Really? Okay, well, I'll just turn them down. Fuck it. Anyway, I'll do a bit of shilling, I suppose. Hit the subscribe button on the YouTubes if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications and all the rest of it. You can like, comment, and subscribe and all of that jazz. Go over to twitch.tv/KFLogan1875. You can have me, you can follow me there for free, or you can subscribe to me, which will cost you money unless you have an Amazon Prime account, in which case you can subscribe to me for free on the Twitch machine, and that will be money for me and no money for Bezos, so we'll bankrupt him in no time. There's also the Patreon if you want to go and give me a regular monthly subscription if you enjoy my work, or you can just throw me a couple of bucks or whatever on the Streamlabs and get a comment that will be read out, and a gritty on the screen and all of that jazz. I need to get more things for that. I need to mix that up, I think, don't I? Have like a randomizer type dealio. Anyway, back to these dipshits.
That Texas was going to come under some scrutiny that other places probably were not.
Right.
And there was also a huge operation down in Houston where a vote scamming scheme for over 700,000 votes was exposed. And so there was a lot going on in Texas, and I think it made them a little skittish to operate as brazenly
there is a
here
vote.
as they did.
I'm going to knock you out, Carl, I swear to God. No. He comes in, he goes, I think he wants food, but he's going to have to wait.
They might have backed off a little, but you just said something there. So you're telling me that they controlled all the down tickets, too, if they decided that they wanted to flip a senator or a congressman or whatever. Is that correct?
No doubt. Absolutely.
So, Russell, could you speak specifically to the malware?
Sure. There is a company out of Barcelona, Spain called Seidel, and it owns a company called Clarity Election Night Reporting. And Hart reports to them, and Dominion reports to them, and ES&S reports to them. All these companies report the votes to them. And then election night reporting supposedly just passes the votes along to the media. But
1 second. 2 lots of baby cats tonight. Yeah. You're a beautiful brother cats. Yeah? You say hello to everyone. Yeah. Someone's just been outside because he's wet. Anyway. If you jump up at me, I'm going to fuck you up, boy.
using standard white hat tools, we can look and see what is on their server over in Frankfurt, Germany. And there is an area on their server on a particular kind of equipment. There is a piece of malware called QSnatch. QSnatch actually watches all the information that comes in, and it grabs the login credentials of every single county in the country that reports to it. So that once it has all those credentials, it can then look back into that county and it can access the county database from overseas or wherever else it wants to, if you want to inject changed votes either through the adjudication system or just plain flat replace the database. So it's a massive, massive, massive security vulnerability, and it is there, it is working, and they have all the login ability they need to get into any county that reports to them.
Wow. So basically, what you said earlier, all the servers are over there. They can take all of our counties in that country, look at them, and then decide what they want to do with that information and what they can do in the county.
Shut up. I'm trying to sort out baby cam. There he is. There we go. Baby cam.
What they need to flip. So, we all heard we all heard about this Italy thing, and that it went to Italy and Germany when they had to I guess this would be in the middle of the night on November 4th. Is this something? Would you know anything about that? I mean, so what we've all heard out there is it went over there. Some guy even admitted he did it, which we're going to have his affidavits up here. But what's your opinion on that?
Well, our opinion on that was that it should have been investigated because it is very consistent with what we do see happening. But it was not investigated. Apparently, the Department of Justice did not investigate. You got the usual, it's been debunked. Well, who debunked it? When did they debunk it? How did they debunk it? There was no investigation by anyone.
Yes, there was. It was debunked by the FBI and the DOJ. There you go. That's who by, you fucking weird old-timey twat.
Of that information, and there should have been, because it is entirely consistent. I don't know if it's true, but it's entirely consistent with everything we have seen in terms of capabilities.
Bill Barr comes out and said, there's no evidence. I mean, what would be your opinion? Why people would keep pushing this down and not wanting to know? I don't care what side of political lines you're on. Why would you not want to know if the truth?
That has been a constant haunting question to everyone on our team. I think it's a combination of things. I think. Shut
up, you twat. It looks like Rurikat's looks, because of the shadow, it looks like he's got no head. I'm just gonna. There you go. Hopefully you can now see him properly. There he is, he's got a head. I promise, he does have a head, I promise you.
Some people are truly, completely, totally corrupt. I suspect that at the bottom of this, you might find that our government has been changing votes in other countries for years and they don't really want it revealed.
No. Have the American government been interfering with foreign elections? I am deeply shocked. Deeply shocked, I say.
Certain parts of our government. I think that there are people that don't want to look. They're afraid to look. I think there are probably people who are compromised and have been told to stay out of it.
Right.
I think that it's a variety. It's not one simple little reason.
Right, and that's what I wanted people to hear, because I hear it all the time. People are going, you know what, this, Bill Barr said this, and none of the judges accepted it, and you hear all this, and we can't explain all that because it's probably multiple things, like Russell says there, and that's my opinion too. It could be anywhere up to a dozen.
We can't explain it, but it's definitely true. Intriguing.
Things, who knows? But it doesn't matter. All that doesn't matter because now the truth is.
He's washing his face,
and it's all coming out. And everybody, I really believe what's going to happen once everybody sees now this is finally you're going to have people that aren't afraid to speak out, because it's too late to close the gate. The cows are out of the barn. Everybody's going to know about it, and they're going to want to know more and more. So.
Well, Mike, the real thing is, I think pretty soon the question's going to.
This is fucking unhinged, man. I think Mike Lindell genuinely believes that people are going to believe this shit. I don't know if you've noticed, but this has been out for, 24 hours, and no one cares. No one fucking cares.
Start to turn around, and people are going to go, wait a minute. What is everyone so afraid of?
Right.
Why are they going to such incredible lengths to say there's nothing here when there clearly is something here? Well, this is almost like, you and I remember Enron. This is almost like Enron. Would we all be saying, no, we don't want to investigate?
It's almost like Enron, except all of the things that Enron was.
Enron. No one should look into Enron. No, Enron shouldn't have to tell you how they spend your money. You just keep giving them your 401k money.
Right.
No, that's not how it works. And that's not how our voting system should work either.
So now we have with us Dr. Shiva. He has 4 MIT degrees. He's an expert in system science and pattern analysis. And I met him 4 weeks ago, because I don't want him out there going, well, Mike, why didn't you bring this to us before? Well, I just met Dr. Shiva 4 weeks ago, and he's going to tell you, he actually ran for Senate, and he knows all about these machines now, and we're going to hear some of the stuff that I found out and went, wow, this is absolutely validates this election fraud with these machines. So,
well, thanks, Mike. I'm glad we connected.
Yeah.
It's an interesting opportunity for me, Mike, because it's rare that a guy who's a scientist and engineer, an MIT guy, even runs for office.
Right.
And then it's even more rare that you come across something you never think occurs in the United States.
Yeah, they don't even give him a first name, just Dr. Shiva.
I grew up in India and third world countries. We talk about election fraud. When I was running in Massachusetts in 2020, we had 3,000 volunteers on the ground, 20,000 bumper stickers, 10,000 lawn signs, billboard ads, radio, TV, network. We were everywhere. The GOP establishment, who doesn't want a bottoms-up guy like me, who hated Trump, ran a no-name out there, who no real lawn signs, no bumper stickers, no organization, nothing. And we knew on election night, which was a Republican primary, September 1st, 2020, the word landslide is what we heard everywhere. We knew.
Yeah, your people were saying landslide, but you lost. Who cares? Like, literally, who cares?
You were going to win by landslide.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was obvious. I mean, we worked. I mean,
I think you said unless there was an election fraud, but you probably thought that's just, maybe someone put that too bad.
So again, they've already. So this person has a history of claiming before an election that this was definitely going to be fraud, but we should definitely believe him now. So what? This is fucking madness. Also, this guy, Dr. Shiva, claims to have invented email. He didn't. He didn't at all. There was a guy who did it before. Apparently, he did make some advances in the technology or something, but he didn't invent email. That was already a thing.
One of my close friends said, Shiva, we're going to win this unless there's election fraud. And I just thought this is just some fringe stuff, right?
Right.
So
You weren't thinking about machines.
I wasn't thinking about machines because I didn't know that. You know, from creating email and all these systems, I know the power of machines.
Oh, by the way, yeah, he created emails, right?
I did. I created email as a
creator of email. I just want to tell you. The guy's a genius. So what you're going to hear here, this is what I did my due diligence on. This is just one guy going, okay, is this real or is this not? And believe me, it's real.
Yeah, I mean, so I have a lot of history, not only in pattern analysis, system science, but I build large-scale computer systems. The stuff I've used has been used by the Senate, has been used by the largest Fortune 1000 companies in the world. So I know how you move from paper-based systems and electronic systems, and I know the power of electronic systems. When you put some process that's in electronic form, a single individual has immense amounts of power. So that's a background. But on September 1st, 2020, what we saw was we knew we'd won on a landslide. And there we are with our big party set up, and we see the results coming in. Now, in Massachusetts, we saw in Franklin County, which is 80 to 90% hand-counted paper ballots, no machines, I win by 10%. And in every other county, Mike, 60-40, 60-40, 60-40.
That you lost by?
I lost by.
The exact percentage.
Exact percentage. By a...
I'll realign my camera then. What are you doing, kids? What you doing? I'm not letting you out again. You're just going to annoy me.
Guy who was in a black county, this guy wins. In a white county, he wins. In a Hispanic county, the guy was nowhere.
By the same percentage.
But by the same percentage.
But that's not only a deviation, but it's an anomaly. That's
it's an anomaly.
You think that's impossible, or you're like me?
Well, it's highly, to be from a scientific standpoint, you would say it's highly unlikely. And that began my journey to start really...
So a thing that was highly unlikely happened, therefore fraud.
Saying, wow, election fraud could take place in America. So I started reading up everything I could.
Of course it could take place, but you need to prove
I found
it
out something
did.
interesting. I found out that these electronic voting machines, remember there's two ways you can vote. One is you vote, you give a paper ballot, and the paper ballot is counted by human beings, two people. That's what occurred in Franklin County. But in those other counties, they take that paper ballot when you vote electronically.
Into a machine.
It goes into a machine. And what happens in that machine? The paper ballot is converted to an image called a ballot image, no different than you taking a picture with your iPhone. Now, so what is actually counted? The paper ballot gets put aside. The machine, the electronic, quote-unquote, AI on the machine, actually tries to figure out where the circles are, and the machine is counting the ballot image. So at that
Is this guy, I mean, are there any tech people? Is this guy actually any good? Because he just described it as AI, and it's not AI. Like, at all.
point, I realized, oh my God, the ballot image is the ballot. The images are the ballot.
So you were going to get to the bottom of this no matter what.
No, I am, because I like
me.
problems.
I want to say something. One thing about Dr. Shiva, when I met him, I'm going, wow, he's just like me. I look at deviations every day. If I see a TV station that normally does 10,000, because I track them all individually, it does 10,000, and all of a sudden one day it did only 2,000, I'll tell you what, when I do spend the rest of the day or a week or a month, I'm going to find out how that happened. Because the only way things change is what? A different input.
Exactly.
A different input. So you've got this anomaly, you've got this deviation, and not just because you were running, a person, it's not like you were just biased going, I won, I know I won. Now you're digging in to find out how this weird mathematical
exactly. I mean, the scientist engineer kicked in, right? I mean, just you're a scientist and engineer in a very interesting from a marketing standpoint. And I think we both sort of pursue the same aims. But here, what we found out was that the first thing that gave me a big insight is that ballot images are being created. And then I also found out by federal law in 1974 they passed a law for federal elections. Those ballot images must be saved. So that was one piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, I know that Mike Lindell was on crack in the 90s, but I meant more specifically Dr. Shiva. Apparently Shiva thinks COVID is a hoax. That's not surprising. Of course he thinks fucking COVID's a hoax. The man's an idiot. He's a Trumpist idiot as well. No.
Okay. The other piece of the puzzle was I found out that the voting machines, as early as 2002, have a feature in there called a weighted race feature, where it's embedded into the system where you can multiply candidates' votes by a percentage. All right, so what that means is you get 1,000 votes, I get 1,000 votes. I can multiply your votes by 2, my votes by 0.5. And if anyone doesn't believe this, go look up the Diebold voting manual. Go to page 2-126.
What are you talking about? Weighted races are tallied by weights assigned by the voter registration system and may be counted in central count vote centres only. Which, by the way, even if this were true, this was the system that was being used for Republican primaries. Barcodes are assigned by the voter registration containing race type. A weighted race has the same attributes as a candidacy, and others that being weighted is counted in the same different. In order to configure that a question as a weighted race, 2 candidates are defined as positive and negative values in a vote for one race. I don't even know what that really means, but again, even if that is possible, which I'm not sure it is, it was being done by Republicans And Diebold is not Dominion or Smartmatic. Again, it's very scattergun, this video, isn't it?
In the manual, in the 2002 version, and you'll see it in there.
So were you able?
And again, a screenshot is not really like a citation as such. You need to actually give me a document to look at.
To prove that your election was stolen by the machines. Did you mathematically? Did you prove 100% that this could only be recreated by a machine to do that 60-40? That same,
Yeah. So what we proved, Mike, was first of all, we showed that the state had deleted the ballot images.
Right.
Which means that if they had the ballot images, I could found the algorithm. So it came upon me to use all that 40 years of experience that I learned from 14 all the way to MIT. I had to bring all that rocket science to actually look at the data. And what I found out in the data was a very interesting anomaly, which as you said, a deviation in one of the counties called Suffolk County, which is typically highly Democrat.
Right.
So we were able to see these interesting numbers up, down, up, down, up, down.
Right.
Essentially, imagine going to a casino. Every time you roll twice the number of odd as you get even. Okay? It's unlikely. It should be 50-50.
Right.
And in fact, when we did the numbers, that pattern could only occur 1 in 100,000. We sued the state on this, and the judge did not dismiss our case.
It's still open.
It's still, not only is open, but we survived dismissal. And the other thing was, we also showed that when I put this out on Twitter and said, look, the Secretary of State deleted ballot images, Twitter didn't do anything to me, but the Secretary of State contacted Twitter to shut me down, along with the National Association of State Election Directors.
So, you were telling lies and slandering people? But because I had a quick look into this guy. He was telling lies and slandering members of the state election board. So they decided to step in and ask Twitter to at the very least take down those tweets, and they took down his account. It's not exactly Big Brother, is it? It's like you were doing sort of crimes.
Wow. Well, let me stop you right there because I want to say something. Did you hear the Twitter thing? All of you in this country and the world know my Twitter was taken down. You know why it was taken down the first time 20-some days ago is because I put up of the new evidence, which Dr. Sheba here, I'm going to tell him in a second. This new evidence that came out shows the timestamp in space of where who did it, what country did it, like China.
Well, remember, we have two cases. First, we basically went into court saying the Secretary of State contacted Twitter. That means Twitter takes orders from the government. This is what we showed. Twitter takes orders.
No. Twitter does not take orders from the government. The government asked that these tweets be taken down because you were lying about people. That's not taking orders. They didn't demand anything. They said, can you take this down because it's illegal? And they took your account down because you were posting illegal shit on Twitter.
That's proven. That's 100%.
Yes, it came out in 3 hours in testimony.
Jack Dorsey
took orders from the Secretary of State of Massachusetts. This is what happens in countries like...
Also, Mike Lindell just took the opportunity to bitch about his Twitter. Lovely stuff.
China. The government tells the corporations what to do. And in the United States, what came out in our 3 hours of testimony where I represented myself, no one wanted to take the swamp on in Massachusetts. So what came out was we have the Secretary of State's the election director and the communications officer saying they contacted Twitter to shut me down.
Is that still open? Is that still open?
Not only is it open, the judge gave me the restraining order, and the case is open. And my other case to decertify, they tried to apply a 100, 200-page motion to dismiss, and the judge denied their motion.
Wow.
And that means...
Yeah, motion to dismiss. That doesn't mean you've got a case as such, or it doesn't mean you're going to win.
Look, MIT's in Massachusetts, right? There's a lot of computer people there. No one has rebutted my mathematical explanation showing that they multiplied my votes by 0.666. So
0.666 they multiplied.
Exactly, and the other guys by 1.2.
So that, just in case you didn't realise these two are religious nutcases, 0.666, because they're the devil. Just,
Well, I think one of the things the public needs to understand is federal laws, the Department of Justice is supposed to enforce them.
Right.
You know, when we found out ballot images were deleted, we informed, what's his name, Barr, and the local U.S. attorney, and they've done nothing. Oh. So basically, this is what happens in third world countries.
Yeah, because you probably don't have a case.
And if that's where we've gotten into, it's a serious problem for this country. Because
the
laws
serious
don't mean
problem.
anything.
You mentioned Barr. I mean, he comes out and says there was no election fraud. You know, here we have right here.
Yeah, there wasn't.
Right?
I told him of son.
Was this before the election even?
But this was in October.
I think you to earn for 100 bits.
I mean, why would you say something like that when, yes, this wasn't just election fraud. This was a historical election fraud.
Historical.
Election from these machines of biblical proportions, of historical proportions.
Biblical proportions. I mean, I agree in as much as it doesn't really contain a great deal of substance, but that's a different matter entirely.
And now it's all going to get exposed. And I want the senators, the congressmen, the government, the governors, the legislators, everybody needs to watch this show. And when you do, a lot of you can go, wow, I never knew. And that'll be a lot of excuse for a lot of them because of our mainstream media and all the people. I can't even believe the money spent to suppress this, to
what
suppress
are you
it.
talking
anything
about?
that popped up, boy, they were right on. Let's destroy them.
Right.
Let's destroy them. Like, who was the last thing to pop up? Me. When I see this, I popped up. And how do you destroy my platform? Because everybody knows I'm out there. They've done everything they could, from bots and trolls to go after my integrity to Twitter. I mean, it's just been a massive attack.
Fucking integrity. You'd have to have integrity first for it to be gone after, Mike.
You're right over target, right?
It wasn't Twitter acted alone. We found the government contacting Twitter. Now, this is a fundamental violation of the First Amendment. Political speech, government speech cannot supersede political speech. So I bet you'll find out that some government official may have likely been involved in contacting Twitter.
Oh, they're big. Oh, yeah.
And that's
Dude, you were taken down because you were slandering people. That's not protected speech. That's not political speech. That's you being a cockhead. Okay? You were slandering members of the state election board and stuff. You can't do that. Or you shouldn't be able to do that. Often on Twitter you can and will get away with it because, Twitter's shit. But you can't really, when you get copped, you can't say, oh, well, I know I murdered a person, but there are loads of people who murder people who get away with it. That's not an excuse. And this is a slightly smaller scale example than murder, but the same basic rule applies. Pointing to someone else doing a crime doesn't stop you from having done a crime.
I know Jack Dorsey was involved. Jack, if you're out there, you did this to my movie a couple years ago with Unplanned, where they shut Twitter down. Twitter shut that down for 2 hours when it launched.
It's just bitching about Jack Dorsey.
Talking about how we all know the social media, what they've done, from Mark Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey. These platforms, the power they have, along with the mainstream media. What did they do when they took over? You talk about third world country. In Nazi Germany, they took over. All your in any country like that, they'll take over your communication. How are we going to communicate? You're here in one sec. And this is where we're at. We're going to get this out there. This show is going to be, this is what everybody's been waiting for. And, I encourage a newscast out there. If you're all these journalists and all you guys that have been calling me for 3 weeks now, you never called me before. You're from your CNNs to your New York Times, your Washington Post. All you guys have been calling me nonstop every day because you think you got some kind of making up some dirt or something, or because Dominion, you're saying things about Dominion. I encourage all you, why don't you be a real journalist and take this story and run with it? Be the first one to go, wow, this is real. Maybe you'd become the biggest.
Yeah, because it's not real. Again, this would be an enormous story if it were true. But it isn't. And also, they're calling you about Dominion because Dominion are suing you, you twat. That's a story that's actually happening.
Outlet in the country by doing that.
Because a real crime scene in America is these computer algorithms.
And I'm going to tell you, that is the crime scene. And I'm going to tell you, this is the game too that these machine guys played. It's with
the real crime scene is these computer algorithms.
And talk about these machines because they were threatened. I go on a news talk show and they go, we can't talk about that. I was just on one last night. You can't talk about that. Why not? Okay.
He's bitching about the Newsmax thing. Oh, did his tiny meow come through? Okay, yeah, no, he did. He went. He's just being a whiny little bitch. Food time is not now time, is it? Yeah, you can fucking squint cutely as much as you like.
Now we have Patrick Colbeck, and he was a former state senator in Michigan. And Patrick, how are you involved with, what brought you here today?
Yeah, well, it came from as a result of my decision to be a poll challenger at the Detroit AV County Board. I had a marathon 25-hour shift from starting on election night around 5 o'clock all the way through the next day. Wow. So we witnessed all the fun.
There he is again. Yeah. Rory Katz. You're a knob. You are? I think he might want to go out for a poo, actually. So what I'll do is I will briefly kick you back to the intro thing, and I'll be back in like 1 minute, okay? God, he's an annoying little shithead. Fuck's sake. He didn't want to go out. The cat flap was already open, so he didn't want to go out. He just wanted to bully me for food. Which I allowed him to do, because I can't say no to those little eyes. You've seen the little eyes. So, yeah. Anyway. He won. I blinked.
Yep.
Where at Michigan? What county?
At the Detroit AV County Board in Wayne County. Well, a little background on me. I mean, when I was a state senator, I was actually the vice chair of the Elections and Government Reform Committee in the Michigan State Senate. And in addition to that background, my background's as a Microsoft small business specialist, and I did cabling design on the space station. So in other words, I'm familiar with election processes, and I'm familiar with network configuration. So my focus when I came at the Detroit AV County Board was I wanted to understand specifically the handoff of vote tally information throughout the system. We did see evidence that it was connected to the internet.
What was that evidence?
Well, that control center, they've already admitted to the fact that that control center had computers that were connected to the internet, and we.
Yeah, it had some that were connected to the internet, not that those particular machines were connected to the internet. So again, it's just making stuff up.
Saw the actual cable routed from the wall of the TCS center to the control center, and we have election officials that admitted that there were computers in that control center that were connected to the internet. And anybody with
there were some computers. That's not anything.
Worth their salt in IT land understands that if one computer is connected to the internet, they're all connected to the internet. You may say that it's air gapped, you may say you have a firewall,
so
but there's people that.
Yeah, you may say that because it's true. Again, I don't know. Look, the thing is, right, there may be something that goes on in that case, but I don't care. You have to actually prove that something took place. Not even just that it was possible. Look, you can say if one of them has the internet, then potentially they can be connected. But you have to actually show that they were connected or that something did take place, and you haven't done that. Now, yeah, exactly. Were the connected computers ever in contact with the voting machines? I've seen no evidence that they were at all. Just saying it was possible. Well, yeah, lots of stuff's possible.
Eat firewalls for breakfast.
So what you're saying, you knowing that, so if it's connected to the internet, somebody out there could have hacked in and then did the flip into the votes.
Yep. When
Could
you
have
get
done,
into a case
but
where you've got
you have to show that. You have to show it.
Devices that are supposed to be capturing that vote tally connected to the internet, or frankly even connected to a large local area network, and you can't witness that handoff of vote tallies. You don't have that seal. So you may be thinking you're passing that information from point A to point B, but there's nothing to prevent it from going to point C in the interim. It's called a man-in-the-middle attack.
So if you're online, I mean, anybody could get in there and then do that because they're intercepting that. It's an interception. That's why you don't have machines aren't supposed to be online in election, right?
Yeah.
Well, in some states that's true. In some states, they apparently it can be or something. Anyway, it doesn't really matter because you're just still wrong. You're still very, very wrong because they weren't necessarily connected in any way. You have to show that they were and that vote flipping took place. And you have shown neither of those two core components to prove that something dodgy actually took place.
Yes, it's called man in the middle, and you wouldn't accept that if it was a traditional precinct, and you got that precinct result, and it wasn't sealed. You'd be raising your hand saying something's rotten.
Absolutely. I want to ask this though, because if you were there, did it slow down in the middle of the night when you were there? Like
absolutely, yeah.
So it slowed down to a trickle?
Dead as a night, yeah. And that's when some ballots came in the back door.
Well, now we're here with Melissa Carone.
Again, they're just going to claim that. They're just going to claim. So this is Melissa Carone. You remember the crazy woman, Karen Zilla? Hang on. This woman. Do you remember her from the thing? Crazy fuck who claimed that she was there and working on behalf of Dominion voting machines, doing IT when she wasn't. She was there basically cleaning screens. She was, I mean, a janitor in essence. Now that's fine, don't get me wrong. My father was a janitor at a high school. There's nothing wrong. It's a perfectly noble thing to be a janitor. The world needs to be cleansed. And I mean that in a genuine sense rather than a Nazi sense. Anyway, so there's nothing wrong with that, but it means that she doesn't necessarily have any insider information on the technologies, and she's fucking mental. She still has a restraining order on her and a suspended suspended jail term potentially for sending revenge porn of her fucking a man to that man's ex-wife. She's fucking mental. Look, that's not just poisoning the well, because the things she also says are completely wrong, and she was rightly laughed at for being like a kind of weird drunken idiot. Whereas in this case, she seems more sober this time, but She's still just as wrong.
Actually hired by Dominion for November 3rd and 4th, just for 2 days,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
And they found you.
And see what I mean? Look, it's in half profile. Both of them are. Look, it's just awful.
Online, right? You had a resume online. You have an IT background.
Yep.
Okay. So why don't you tell us? Tell us what happened.
So I was there to assist with IT work.
Okay.
For Dominion. So what I was doing was just walking up and down the rows of the tabulating
by the machines.
machines. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So that's a tabulating machine.
Yeah. So I could get very close to these machines.
Okay.
And
So what about the? Was that the only kind of machine?
No, there was on the stage there was adjudication machines in the front and the back, and then on the sides there was the adjudication.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the tabulating
Right.
machines.
Both Dominion machines, correct?
Both Dominion
All
machines.
right. So you got to see what? Thousands of votes?
Thousands.
Thousands upon thousands of votes. Okay. What was on every vote?
Every vote that I saw was for Joe Biden.
For Joe Biden. When I heard this.
She was doing the Wayne County vote, which is Detroit again. Not enormously difficult to see why most of those votes would be for Joe Biden, considering I think that county went something ridiculous like 71% Biden. So even if we take her at her word, which I'm loath to do on virtually any point because she's full of shit, but even if she's telling the truth on this particular occasion, that's not statistically that unlikely. It's relatively unlikely because if we're talking about thousands of votes, but it depends on the precinct as well. There are some precincts that were 80-90% Biden from that county, so, you know. Now he wants back in. I think I might have to actually punt a cat live on YouTube. I know it's against terms of service, but it might have to happen. I'm joking, but you get the idea.
And I want to say, you worked how many hours?
22 straight hours.
And then you came back for 4 hours?
Correct.
Out of all that time, did you ever see one Trump vote?
I never saw a single Trump
Right.
vote. So when the ballots got to the tabulating machines, they would just put them through. It's kind of like a printer. You would look at it kind of like a printer, where the paper would come out. Normally,
Right.
that's
Yep.
where they were put in, and it would end up as they were tabulated.
Baby
on the top
cam.
of the machine.
Right.
Baby
So these
cam.
would jam constantly jammed,
Right.
and because these are mail-in ballots, creases,
Right.
anything
Right.
in them would jam this.
And when they jammed, what happened?
When they
This is very
jammed,
interesting.
they would take
It's
the
very
ballot on the
interesting.
computer in front of each person.
Right.
It would say ballot number, 20.
20.
Jammed.
Out of a group of 50. So the
Yeah.
20th ballot jammed.
Mhm.
Then what? Then
So
what?
it would say discard or rescan. And the way they were supposed to do it is discard them and then rescan them, but they were not discarding these.
So they used the same.
But again, this was proven to be a lie. Basically, they have to rescan the thing. You don't throw the literal thing away. You take that off, because again you have to rescan the batch, and then you rescan the vote again. They were saying because they were going through the machines multiple times that they were being counted multiple times, and they weren't. They get counted once, which is like the point, because that's how one person, one vote works.
Say 30 went through, it got stuck on the 30th one. They put that number 30 at the top of the same 50 pack and run them through again.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that tabulator had no way to know, it's just counting the number of, counting a deck of cards.
That's exactly
It's not, you can sit there and run the same deck of cards through this tabulator over and over and over and over again.
Yes.
Is that right?
So one time through the night, I approached my manager and I said, this machine has a...
Actually, that's true. I'm not sure if it is the one, but should we go down to normal speed for a brief moment to see whether she's actually sober or not? Because speeding her up would definitely make her sound more sober.
Count of over 400 on it.
Right.
I said, what's going on here? And I said, this is not right. That should not go above 50, because the batches are only 50.
Only 50.
And I said, we have a huge problem here. And he said, he pulled me aside and he said, I don't want to hear that we have a problem. He said, we are here to assist with IT work.
She does sound more drunk at normal speed. Yeah. Like, I can't say she definitely is, but, I mean, either way, I want to get through this at some point.
The Dominion guy?
He's actually a part owner of Dominion.
Wow,
Yes.
okay. What? So 26 hours of watching ballot after ballot.
What? But also, I just want to point out, the owners of Dominion not only are not fans of the late Hugo Chavez, and he is, by the way. They keep talking about Chavez as if he's still alive. He's not, he's dead. They are two Venezuelan nationals who live in America, and the company is based in Florida, and those two Venezuelans fucking hate the Chavista/Maduro regime. These are not like friends of Hugo Chavez, or even the ghost of Hugo Chavez.
Up and down these.
So the fact that one of the co-owners was at the count in Detroit is not sign of anything other than this is a big deal for a relatively small company. So he wanted things to go well. So he was like checking up on it and stuff.
tabulating machines, not one ballot was for Donald Trump. Okay, now we're here with Matt DePerno, and he's the lawyer that we all heard about this Antrim County. How did you get this county, did you hear about it, and how did you even get involved in this?
Sure. Well, I know some people who live up in Antrim County, and Antrim County is a small county up in northern Michigan. It historically votes roughly 65% Republican, 35% Democrat. And in this case,
we've already been through this, haven't we, with the Antrim County stuff
35% to Donald Trump. So
Michigan.
people who lived up there knew that there was a problem. They knew that the results were not correct. And on the morning of November 4th, they actually contacted the Antrim County clerk and requested
What's
that
the
she
point
look
of
into
that
the results
shot?
because they knew what had been posted on the website could not be true. And through a series of events, people I knew up there, and a person named Bill Bailey, who's a patriot.
Bill Bailey. Bill Bailey was the name of the last person executed in Britain. Did you know? That's true. We don't have the death penalty anymore, but the last person was William Bailey.
There was a problem.
Known as
to
Bill.
challenge the results. They ended up connecting him to me, and I filed a lawsuit. But what's important is, in filing this lawsuit, we weren't seeking publicity, we weren't seeking fame, we just wanted to get results. We filed the name in the name of a patriot named Bill Bailey, and we challenged down ballot
patriot named Bill
That's what
Bailey.
he was most interested in learning
he's
about
fucked up
school board
again.
elections. Of course, he was obviously
I'm
also
gonna knock
interested
this
in other
coat.
aspects of the election, what happened in the presidential election, and how did things flip. But primarily, the case centered on local politics. And if you look at certain townships, like Chestonia Township, Joe Biden got 197 votes on November 3rd.
Right.
In reality, he only got 93.
How do you know that he only got 93?
Because there's since been a hand recount.
A hand recount. So when did they do that?
They did a hand recount on November 21st and then again on December 17th.
Is that also
On
Axl
December
Rose's
17th, actually,
name? Really? William Bruce Rose. Raised as William Bruce Bailey. Okay, so he was raised as Bill Bailey. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, there we go. Maybe it was Axl Rose. I don't think so.
Told us they were going to do a full audit of the county. The Secretary of State did. But in reality, they only did a hand recount again.
Okay. So on the recounts, we had 197, and then over here, Donald Trump had 3. So then when the real numbers
they did a hand
were 93.
recount. What more do you fucking want? They took the voting machines out of the process.
197, is that correct?
That's correct. So you can see Joe Biden on election night got 197. He got Donald Trump's 197 votes.
Right.
So we know that was a...
This is 100% fact here.
100% factual.
Now what we're showing here, you guys, so everyone knows, these are all precincts.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can see
666
this
is
here.
not 193,
These are all precincts. So let's just
absolutely.
do this precinct. 392, this is done through the machines, and Donald Trump got 8. What? So here it's a 392 to 8, but the real number was 198 to 392.
And if you see here, Elk Township, Joe Biden...
How am I confusing Smartmatic with Dominion? Did I misspeak or something? I'm not sure.
392 on election. In reality, those are Donald Trump's votes. Those were the 392.
Right, they were just flipped. In order for that to be off,
yeah, and it was found out.
I would right now, 100%. How could that be off? There would be something wrong with what?
The machine.
The machines. The machines. And what we're showing here right now.
No, not the machines. The human error.
All this, what we've been talking about, this massive machine election fraud that went on, where countries hacked into our election, and nationwide. This is one little county in northern Michigan, and these machines would do it right down to the precinct. Okay, well, you're going to see this is the example we have that was hand counted, and then the rest of the country didn't get to do that. They didn't have the luxury of being able to do that.
No, but they did in various places. Georgia, parts of Wisconsin had recounts. Didn't find the same thing. Oh, Smartmatic is the one with the Venezuelan owners. Apologies, that is true. Dominion is a different company. Yeah. Apologies then. I mean, the basic point still stands about it being a relatively small company that because the co-owner's there doesn't necessarily mean that it's nefarious. It's because that's a big city, or a relatively big city. Detroit's not as big as it once was, of course, because of deindustrialization and offshoring of jobs and stuff. But anyway, yeah, Detroit's a relatively big city, and their voting machines were being used there. So the fact that he was there doesn't necessarily mean anything bad. But yes, the Venezuelan twosome duo are from Smartmatic. Correction, very much accepted. Thank you for your input.
And so what I want to tell you all is this is the perfect example, just so you know, right down to the precinct level, what went on with these machines. I want to see one more here. So,
well, you can look at Kearney Township. Yeah. Joe Biden got 744 on election night. Those were Donald Trump's votes. He actually recorded 16 on election night.
Okay, so here's this county that tradition.
Yeah, but again, this was discovered and corrected. And again, even if this there was a mistake clearly made on some human error level in Antrim County. That's Fine, that's going to happen. When you're counting 160 million votes, you're going to get some fuck-ups. It's just a fact of life. If they're found and corrected, great. That's an election system working as it should. That's why you have those systems and those kind of buffers, or not buffers, protections, those firewalls against those problems, right? But even if it were the case that that these weren't corrected or whatever, then what? Or not weren't corrected, but weren't discovered or whatever. That doesn't mean it's necessarily it's fraud or whatever. It could just be a genuine mistake that doesn't get corrected or doesn't get found. It doesn't necessarily mean it's fraud. And it's Antrim County, which, no offence, look at the numbers involved here. These are not huge numbers of voters. He lost Michigan by 140,000 plus.
Traditionally, always is like 65% Republican, 35% Democrat, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so everyone in the county knew when these numbers came in on November 4th, they're going, there's something wrong with the machines. Everyone would think that. It wouldn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican, you're going, wow. And it's not like what? And they couldn't use the...
No, you're going, oh, bollocks. Oh, fuck's sake, where were we? Shit balls.
Machines would do it right down to the precinct, okay? But you're going to see, this is the example we have that was hand counting.
Sorry.
And they,
I forgot what I was going to fucking say now as well. Bollocks. Doesn't matter.
The rest of the country, didn't get to do that. They didn't have the luxury of being able to do that, And so what I want to tell you all is this is the perfect example, just so you know right down to the precinct level what went on with these machines. I want to see one more here. So,
well, you can look at Kearney Township. Yeah. Joe Biden got 744 on election night. Those were Donald Trump's votes. He actually recorded 16 on election night.
Okay, so here's this county that traditionally always is like 65% Republican.
That was it. Antrim County, tiny county. It wouldn't make much of a difference. Was the basic point. And I don't want to offend the people of Antrim County, although statistically speaking, it's unlikely. I've got many viewers in Antrim County, but let's say they've got some. I don't want to offend you. It's just you're not a big place. Your overall numbers are not that. Even if they'd flipped every single vote to Joe Biden, or every single Trump vote to Donald Trump, it wouldn't have made any difference. Now, it still would have been fucked up had they done either of those things, obviously. But they didn't. It was a mistake that got found and corrected. So, yay.
35% Democrat, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so everyone in the county knew when these numbers came in on November 4th, they're going, there's something wrong with the machines. Everyone would think that. It wouldn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican, you're going, wow. And it's not like what? And they couldn't use the deviation saying, well, it was because of mail-in voting, because there's no huge cities in there like Detroit, correct?
That's correct.
All right, so I just want everyone out there to know this before you get into town. This is just a small county, northern Michigan, and they ended up flipping. We had 15,718
votes. 15,718 votes.
And 7,060 were flipped from Trump to Biden. Is that correct?
Yeah. And what's even more interesting?
By machines, right? It had to be done by the machine.
No. Oh, again, they're wrong, and I need a citation on all of this.
Absolutely, by machines. If you look at the original,
which is why I've got citation needed.
7,769 for Joe Biden and 4,509 for Donald Trump.
Right.
That actually totals 12,278 votes.
Right.
By machine on November 3rd. That's the vote tally.
Right.
That wasn't correct. Because if you look at the hand recount, it was actually 59-59 for Joe Biden and 97-59 for Donald Trump, which gets us to 15,718.
Gotcha.
So the question is, where were the 3,200 votes on election night? Right. Why weren't they recorded?
Yeah, right. And that, but even with that, and we don't know why. We don't know why on that. I'm here to show everyone out the facts and evidence that I've seen 100%. Here's 100%. This little county in northern Michigan. Look at what the difference was. It was a net of 5,250 votes. Is that correct?
That's a net for Donald Trump.
That's a net for Donald Trump. There was 7,000. That's where you get the 7,060 votes.
So what I want to show you here in the next slide is actually the number of registered voters. This is what you're getting to. The number of registered voters in the county is 22,082 votes.
Right.
And this is the total number of votes cast by machine on November 3rd, 16,047. Now, of course, not everyone votes for the president. So that's why there's going to be some disparity.
Right.
But you see what happened in Antrim County. On November 3rd, there were 16,047 votes cast. Right. Then on November 5th, when they did a recount, somehow they gained 2,000 more votes.
Wow.
And we haven't got an explanation as to...
Yeah, it's a recount. Now, that's quite a big discrepancy on a recount, and you need an explanation for that, but you can't say, oh, look, a discrepancy. Fraud! Because you're just anomaly hunting. You're not actually trying to find out answers to anything.
Right. But we do know that there was 7,000. If you were to say right now and go, you know what? We do know that 7,060 Donald Trump had 7,060 more votes net out of this county.
That's correct.
That's 100% fact.
100%.
100% fact.
So after we filed the lawsuit, we at the same time we filed the lawsuit, we also filed a motion with the court asking the judge to allow us to take forensic images of the Dominion system. the Dominion voting system. And he granted that. And we then went in, and I believe it was December 6th, and with a team of forensic scientists and data collection scientists, we captured the forensic images of the
I remember
Dominion
looking at
voting
this, yeah. I remember looking at this thing, and it was just complete bollocks. I remember looking at this live on stream. I can't remember the exact reasons. This was a while, but this was, like I say, this was before Christmas, and it's now February. But yeah, I remember it being bullshit.
system. The master tabulator is what we call it, sitting in the
master tabulator,
along with all of the CF cards, which are the program cards,
the
that run
tabulatrix,
the actual software, along with the actual data cards or thumb drives that collect and tally the results in each precinct. We captured the forensic images of all of those items.
Okay, I want to say something there. So the people, did you hire these people to do that?
Correct.
Okay. And you didn't know them before this, right?
We didn't know them before,
right.
But people got us in contact
with forensic experts on these particular...
Well, yeah, but just because you didn't know them before doesn't mean you can't pay them to lie. Now, I don't know that they've done that. I'm not making any accusations. I'm just saying the idea that you can get out of it by saying, well, I didn't know them before. So, you're still paying them. That's still potentially a reason why this might not be true. Again, you do have to show it. Just showing a picture of a thing, again, I don't really care. You need to show me what all of that means. And you haven't.
Machines.
That's correct.
So
well, not specifically me. A judge. You need to show a judge that was the case, and you didn't.
I just want everyone to know that. This wasn't just some, hey, let's grab somebody from the county and look at these machines. These were experts.
These are people with real experience analyzing forensic software images. Wow. It can't be overstated enough that these scientists were also data collection experts. And that's important because what we saw in Antrim County is the failure to properly follow procedures in securing the election machines, the tabulation machines, and securely transferring the votes. The chain of custody in this situation was completely tampered with. What we know...
Again, I'd have to go back over it, but I remember looking at it at the time, and this was completely fucking debunked nonsense. The claims that they were making about the chain of custody was just bullshit. They were just making stuff up. I can't remember the exact reason that there was again, I'd have to go back through it, but I remember looking at it at the time because I remember thinking, this is dumb. This is all really dumb. Because this was back when it was obvious that they were wrong, but often you'd have to... we were in the midst of debunkery, so you didn't necessarily have all the answers, so you were looking into the thing, and yeah, they got nothing. They got nothing!
For certain is that in the Dominion System Manual, the manual tells us exactly how to connect the machines to the internet. The manual tells you how to...
Is it easy?
It's very easy.
A guy like me plug it in?
I'm certain you can probably figure it out.
Voting machines. I believe the debunk on that one was that they were using the wrong manual or something, or a manual from a different set of machines for a different thing or something, if I recall correctly. But again, this was from December, so I don't know.
The manual tells you how to connect the machine to the internet. In our case, what we found through the forensic study that was conducted was that on November 4th at 11:03 p.m., system files...
So this is the Q nonsense, that everything shut down at 11:03 or 11:04, I've heard often. It's not true. It's not remotely fucking true, but they think, they all disconnected at that point. That literally didn't fucking happen. We know it didn't happen. We have pretty fucking accurate recordings of all the things that happened in various states. And there was no great shutdown thing. You're lying.
Adjudication files and other source system files were deleted from the Dominion system in Antrim County.
This is one of the...
They were removed. We don't know who removed them or how they gained access to remove them.
Okay, this is genuinely one of those great... you don't see it later in the show.
In our case, we don't know...
This is one of the great examples of confirmation bias, this entire video.
But we do know that those files were removed on November 4th at 11:03.
What's the significance of that they're removed? What does that do to you as trying to investigate this? What did that do?
Well, number one, I presume, and we've asked the Antrim County prosecutor to investigate whether that was a crime to remove voting information from the system prior to the expiration of 22...
That's a great line. This guy's very persuasive. I can't decide whether to buy a pillow or reject objective truth.
Month period, which
it's very true.
But when that's removed, that means it was hard for you to do your audit?
That's hard for us to review the forensic images to conclusively understand.
Right.
No, it wasn't cocaine. He was a crackhead back in the day.
Because in Michigan, at least 38 other counties use
Which
the Dominion
is
software.
yeah,
So if this is
it's slightly
happening in
different than
Antrim
just
County,
cocaine.
and it was exposed in Antrim County because of the disparity, because there were only 15,718 votes cast.
You wouldn't notice this in a bigger city if it was that low a number.
Correct. If you were in Wayne County and 7,060 votes flipped, you wouldn't notice it.
So the black people in Wayne County were clearly worse.
Team of
or
forensic
something.
scientists
I don't know.
worked tirelessly.
There's always a little bit of kind of a racist dog whistle when they bring up Wayne County. They know what they're doing.
After December 6th, after we collected the forensic images for about a week, they worked very hard to review those images and put together a report. And because of a protective order that was in place in this case, I had to file a motion with the court.
I'll file a motion for you, boy.
The report that we had prepared. And we did that. We did that on December 14th. The judge granted our request and allowed us to release what's called the Allied Security Operations Group Preliminary Summary, version 2, dated December 13th.
Yeah, he allowed
Is that public? Is that public?
It is public.
He allowed you.
So this is stuff that got put out there, and I guarantee you, it was probably put out there.
He allowed you to put it out. He didn't. That doesn't mean it's true. He allowed you to put the information out there. But they're using that as if that's like evidence of anything. It just means the judge allowed you to publish a document.
Somebody probably put it on their Twitter, and bang, I'll bet you it was gone. You know, they probably tried to spread. That's just my opinion. I had to throw that in there.
Well, I can tell you it's been on
oh, really?
my
That's just
website,
your opinion.
infernallaw.com, since December 14th, and it has constantly been suppressed. For people who try to share the link on Facebook or Google or through social media, it gets suppressed.
Yeah, that's true. Most reformed drug addicts are generally more sane than this. I'm betting. And again, this is just conjecture. I don't know this is true. But I would guess he was fucking mad before he became a crackhead. This is just his natural level. It probably didn't help. It probably exacerbated some pre-existing issues, but, you know. He was probably a bit nutty beforehand, is what I would think.
And people are not allowed to share it. In some cases, they try to share it, and a screen comes up that says that this information is not accessible.
Here you had a perfect report. I mean, even the judge said you could put it out there, correct?
Yes. Everything we've done in this case has been permitted by the court in terms of the ability to release information. But what it is, actually...
to release information. Not that information is correct. He said you could release the information. I don't care.
It's information that, if revealed, would show that the CEO of Dominion Software, when he testified in front of the Michigan Senate, this information would show that he was not telling the truth about how the Dominion system works.
Wow.
And here's what we concluded.
But it didn't... Wow. Have you noticed how wow he is? He says fucking wow to everything. It's infuriating, because the things he's saying wow about aren't anything. They're nothing. They're not things that one ought to be particularly impressed by. Because the thing he's saying there, they lied about the Dominion voting machines. No, they didn't. There was a human error. That's it.
Wow. When we release the report, this is what it states. We conclude that the Dominion voting system is intentionally and purposefully designed with inherent errors.
But it wasn't. Again, this is your conclusion based on your own fucking ridiculous political alignment. You're a Trump Q cultist twat. They weren't designed for that purpose at all. You're a liar.
To create systemic fraud and influence election results. Now, that's not my words. That's the words of the forensic team
that looked at
the forensic images and came to a conclusion.
That you paid. The team that you paid, that you hired, who we don't know. Like, there's this Russell Ramsland. I remember him being a fucking person of disreputable repute. Russell Ramsland was a 2016 Republican candidate who sought election to the House of Representatives. Yeah, blah blah blah. There was something about this. I seem to recall. He was weird, anyway. I can't remember. There was something about him. He was involved in some corruption or something, I seem to recall. Well, I can't remember. Anyway, but he's a weirdo. Whatever. Thank you to Post Havoc for donating $5. Very, very kind of you. By the way, you can do so as well via streamlabs.com/KFLogan1875. It is linked in the Gooch bar. What do you think What do you think Pillowman's end game is? Political office, or do we chalk this down to delusion? I think definitely the latter. I don't think he'll be running for office. For a start off, he's going to need the money of the My Pillow company because he's going to get sued. Anyway, I don't think he's going to be running for office. I think he's just a delusional, religious obsessive, and he is an absolute religious nutcase. I'll take you to his website briefly, which is like that's the player there. His other thing was with God, all things are possible, which is a book he wrote. Like, he's fucking crazy, right? He's a crazy religious authoritarian, who's a massive Trump cultist. That's all he is. I don't think he has aspirations to political office. Although it wouldn't surprise me because, you look at the likes of, Trump himself and, Mike Bloomberg and Andrew Yang. Rich men who earn enough money think to themselves, maybe I can do politics. Maybe he will. I doubt it, though. I think he's just a delusional fool.
About what they saw.
Right. So they concluded that the only reason you would have a machine like this is if you wanted to steal an election.
Correct. Because what they also found is that this machine in Antrim County generates errors at the rate of 68% based on ballots that you put in the machine.
No, I don't think he is Mormon.
When you take a piece of paper and you vote on it.
No offense to Mormons, but I think he's like regular Protestant Christian, as far as I'm aware. And he's definitely like a full-on theocrat. He wants like religious government. He said so before. He's a fucking crazy bastard. He's also obsessed with the end times. He's like, this means we live in the end times. We live in the end times. There's a clip of him saying, hang on, I'll see if I can find it on YouTube, of him saying, we live at one of these Stop the Steal rallies. He was speaking, and he said, we live in end times, and that's a good thing, I think was the quote. Mike Lindell. Mike Lindell, you twat. Speech. Hang on. I'll just type in Mike Lindell end times. Is it around? Come on. Come on. He was at one of these rallies. My pullover. I can't find it. That's really annoying. Or at least I can't find it via thumbnail. Whatever. Anyway, at one of these Stop the Steal rallies, he said, we live in the end times, and that's a good thing. Because, he's crazy.
You think when you're voting that you're tallying your vote, and then you put that piece of paper into the Dominion tabulation machine, right? You know how that process works.
Yeah.
And
if there's a great video, by all means, link a link, and I'll take a look.
You think you voted, but you haven't voted yet. You haven't voted until that machine actually tabulates your result in the system. When you put the paper in the tabulator, the tabulator takes that paper, converts it to data, and data can be manipulated. In the case of the way the Dominion system works, as I understand it, based on information given to me by my forensic team, when you insert that paper ballot in the machine, and when an error is tabulated, and remember, this machine tabulates them at 68% error rate.
Wow.
Those ballots...
No, oh God. It's not the machines. In one county in Michigan, there was a human error fuck-up.
Those error ballots go to what's called adjudication. Adjudication is a process where someone else, other than the voter, is able to look at that ballot on a screen and determine the voter's intent.
Yeah, again, it's not based on voter rejection. It's like if there's some weird anomaly, like I've had friends who've been at counts here in Britain, and they're always done hand counts. There's no voting machines here. They've told some stories of like someone who went into the ballot box and drew a cock and balls in each of the boxes next to all of the candidates, and they literally had all of the candidates arguing that their vote should count on that. Like one of them would say, look, this one's slightly bigger in the box next to my name, so it should count. Now, apparently they threw that ballot out because it was, like, obviously a spoiled ballot, right? Quite literally spoiled with penis, the dirtiest of all the genitals. Anyway, And yeah, so but things like that happen, and so in that case, they go to this adjudication thing where, they decide whether it's like a spoiled ballot or whatever,
And vote that ballot for the voter.
Right.
And with adjudication, in the way the Dominion system works,
But again, it's just dishonest to say they vote that ballot for them. That's not really what's taking place there. They're acting like, oh, it was a Trump vote, and they just put it in the Biden pile or something. That's not at all what's happening there. They literally, they're so desperate to try and cling on to the desperate cope that Donald Trump actually won and that Donald Trump's actually popular, neither of which is fucking true. That they'll just pretend and like demonize these election workers who are some of the most dedicated, hard-working fucking people in America. And yet they'll shit on them because Daddy Trump lost. Like, fuck you, man. Dipshits.
Over the night, a number of ballots. Yeah. But what I can tell you, what's interesting is the 2020 system log files are missing. But they are present for 2018 and 2016.
Citation needed.
p.m. on November 4th. What happened on November 4th, the day after the election, is at least in Michigan, this story broke across the state.
Right.
Antrim County had flipped in this manner.
Okay, so it was such a deviation. Everybody here, that's why we all heard about Antrim County.
Deviation.
It was such a big deviation, it would be like...
Deviation? What the fuck is deviation? I don't know what you're talking about, DDE. That's deviation. What's this? Not quite Throwback Thursday. A sneaky peek into the upcoming video. What? Oh, that's just Russell Ramsland being an idiot. Sorry. Thank you for that incredibly distracting and ultimately pointless link. I appreciate it. Not at all.
The whole time, for decades or years, whatever, you're 65% Republican and 35%, and you flip. And the whole townspeople probably having coffee going, what did you do? They probably did a recount just themselves at the coffee shops.
The
so
coffee
now that made
shops.
sense. That's why it made national news. We all heard about it.
Antrim County was not certified.
No, you heard about it because it's one of the conspiracy theorists' favourite go-tos. Because it's where a thing did go wrong. But they corrected it.
Based on what the machine spit out on election night. And what we've requested is a full audit of the county. Well, we want all of the machines tested. We'd like to see all the machines tested across the state. Right. We'd like to see audits across the state of Michigan. Right. This is from the actual Dominion manual.
We'd like audits because we can't just accept that we fucking lost. You know what? I'd say give them the audit. Just let them do it. But there's always another excuse. When the audit came back, they'd say the people who did the audit were Democrats. So you say, okay, we'll have Republicans do it. No, those ones are rhinos who did it. And then eventually what they want, basically, is to have Donald Trump's hand-picked goons go in there and make up a result to make it seem like Trump won. That's the only result they will ever accept, is Donald Trump winning. Know that. Regardless of how the voters actually voted, the only outcome they will ever accept and shut up about, at least in terms of the actual fraud, would be for Trump to win and become president again. They wouldn't shut up about the fraud in the sense that they'd go, look, they tried to steal it from us, deep state, globalist, Illuminati, moon Jews, whatever. But they would at least accept that result, even though that result would be not what the voters voted for. But then again, it was never about democracy, wasn't it?
The Dominion manual.
This tells you how to connect the machine to guess what?
The internet.
Yes.
Did everybody hear that?
This is another slide.
But you have to be on the internet in order to do this. So we're going to show you here. I thought these machines didn't go on there. That's what we were told as the public.
It's what we are told.
Eric Kuma. Can we get some C's in chat for Kuma? There's an unfortunate name given the recent memes. Yeah. I mean, I felt sorry for Mr. and Mrs. Cats Can Have Cheeseburger. When that meme came along, nightmare.
If it's configured to print automatically, it'll print anywhere from 1 to 5, 10 copies, however many are needed in the jurisdiction. As well, this device can transmit directly. So that's all part of that closed polls process. You hit that button once, it prints out the tapes. When it's done printing out the tapes, it will automatically transmit the results as well.
What is the vehicle for the transmission from the ICP? Is it cellular modem versus VPN?
Well, it is a cellular modem that can be configured in a VPN, right? And we currently in Chicago.
Again, I'm not entirely sure what the relevance of this is, and whether any of this is relevant to like the voting machines we're talking about. But I mean, whatever. I don't know. They don't really give you any clarification on this either. So, and I know for a fact that the voting sheet machine manual that they're talking about was not relevant to the machines used in Antrim County.
County, we work with Verizon to secure that network, so we would have the same capabilities here.
Lucky. What wireless chipset / modem does the hardware have?
We support a variety. It's really up to the jurisdictions what technology they want to use, what's compatible with their networks.
Currently, in some jurisdictions, we're using basically a modem that is a 3D modem, GSM.
Kuma.
But we can support multiple varieties.
Kuma.
So the answer is the next question: is it 3G or 4G? Verizon, AT&T, or Sprint? I'm assuming all.
Yeah, all networks. Right. We actually transmit from the ICP in Mongolia as well, so we're not limited in networks.
And in Puerto Rico, there's 3 vendors because the island is not covered by any of the vendors completely. So we use 3 different cellular vendors for some ICPs with this vendor: Claro, AT&T, and T-Mobile. I think in the different parts of the island. So.
Everything gets complicated.
But this is another slide from the Dominion software manual that tells you exactly how to set up your system to connect to the internet. Those are important slides to see. Again, another slide from Dominion Voting ImageCast Central, which tells you, as you can see in the bottom corner here, it says box number 1, ensure that the workstation is connected to the network switch with an Ethernet cable. Wow. What does an Ethernet cable get you? To the internet.
To the internet.
Yeah, but again, is this relevant to anything? I'm loath to trust that anything is worth anything here, or relevant to anything, because they're literally just showing us things. What are these? Workstation. Okay, and what exactly? What am I supposed to take from that? What's its relevance to anything? Were these machines at the event? Were these machines remotely involved in the actual counting of the votes at that polling at those counting centres? I don't know. They don't give you anything, and they don't give you a link to fucking check it. So, what? Again, citation needed, motherfuckers.
This is all information that we've been able to look at from the actual manual.
So what do we got here? That looks like it was manipulated.
Well, these spikes, these blue spikes throughout this, show you where Joe Biden got
there we go.
Injections of votes at various...
Yeah, what you call injections. They're not injections. There were ballots that came in. Look, there are Trump injections. There are Trump injections there, look, where the vote goes up. So a batch from a certain county will come in, and it makes them go up. Look, and they align, right? They go up, 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 up. There's a big jump there, look. Oh, that's... stop the count, stop the count. It's illegal. Trump, no. So it then tracks and tracks, and there's a jump there, because presumably that's when Detroit came in, which is overwhelmingly Democratic voting. And eventually he climbed up. So again, you can bitch about it, but that's not an injection, as in like a fake outside thing. That's just them adding the votes that came in to the count. That's it. That's all that is, okay? You can highlight backdated Biden mail as much as you like. That doesn't really mean anything. You're liars.
Very specific times. These big ones on the left are November 3rd. So I'd be curious to see.
I'm a big one on the left.
You have
it will
correlate
so
to
everybody
those.
knows what you're going to see. When you see this spike, you're going to see a forensic footprint, how that happened and who did it. China? Yes. If you're on the internet, the bottom line is you can cheat, you can do all kinds of things. And that's,
you can
cheat.
You can't explain. You have to prove something.
Numbers, right?
That's correct.
That's correct.
The machine results don't match up with the
to the real balance. And once again, the purpose of this whole show obviously is to show everyone in the world that these machines, that this was the biggest fraud and the biggest crime, I believe, against humanity. And this is a crime against humanity. If we wouldn't be all talking about this now, and this is all the truth is going to be revealed.
Michigan.
Someone sent me a thing. Oh, it's a Brent Terhune. Okay, we'll watch that. Just to break up what is frankly a very boring video from these fucking idiots. Anyway, so this is MAGA 20 minutes after inauguration.
Ever since Joseph Hussein Biden became president, this country's really gone to shit. As soon as he put his hand on what I can only assume is a satanic Bible or Hunter Biden's laptop, the unemployment number shot up, the deficit shot up. All of a sudden, this whole coronavirus, the Corona-19 became real. And what is Joe Biden doing about it? So much for keeping your promises, Joe, because you said you're going to send me $2,000. And 20 minutes after you became president, I checked my bank account, and I don't see it in there. It's my money, Joe, and I need it now. I want to see Joe Biden's birth certificate. As a matter of fact, I want to see his death certificate. Because he's so old, I'm not convinced he's even alive. And
I think that might be true, that last one, to be fair.
Be damned if somebody's gonna weekend at Bernie's this country for the next 4 years. We need to support the president no matter who it is, unless it's Joe Biden.
Correct, Brent. Or is it Brett? Is it Brett Terhune? Oh, I've been calling him Brent. Is it? Hang on. No, I'm sure it's Brent, isn't it? Brent Terhune. Don't fuck with me, people. You absolute bumberclarts. Made a fool of everyone.
Michigan is under siege because this is what I'm dealing with right now. Dana Nessel is the Attorney General in the state of Michigan. She sent this tweet out not too long ago, and it says, fun fact, lawyers who practice in Michigan are required to take an oath to support the Michigan and U.S. constitutions, not to file unjust and or frivolous actions or mislead the court. The spate of Trump lawsuits in our state violates each of these tenets. It demeans our profession. What she's calling for, and she said she's calling for attorneys in Michigan to be disbarred who file lawsuits in Michigan challenging the results of the election.
No, challenge frivolous lawsuits. Again, these people are massive fucking liars. They want to disbar people like Sidney Powell, Lynn Wood, Rudy Giuliani, who have obviously engaged in frivolous, destructive lawsuits meant to undermining the election, not checking whether it was okay.
Election.
Could you guys all hear this? This is what we're up against. This Dominion, these machines, is the biggest fraud in election. They stole this, but now the truth is all going to be revealed. People like this lady, what's her name? Dana Nessel.
You can see it on the screen, you dopey shit. Just read it. Why did you ask him? What? Seriously, this is the dumbness we're working with, okay? Why the fuck did he have to ask what that person's name was, given that A, the guy had just said it, and B, it was on the screen. He could read the fucking thing. Oh, God. Fucking kill me. I can't... Why did I say I wanted to do this whole video? I'm fucking dying here.
Dana Nessel, how dare you put this out? You're supposed to protect Michigan and the U.S.? This is what I'm doing. This is why I'm getting attacked. This is why everybody's getting attacked.
It's got nothing to do with you. She's not fucking threatening you with lawsuits. Or with disbarment, because you're not a lawyer. You're not a lawyer, my man. In Michigan or anywhere else. So it's not relevant to you. What the fuck is it to do with you being attacked?
So anybody, here you are, the attorney of one of the few open cases where we have 100% proof. First they try and suppress the
You
actual
don't have 100% proof.
And now
citation needed.
Now they're trying to just get rid of you.
Oh, it's not even on the screen.
We have Michigan executive
officials. I'll do that again.
Who are not
citation needed. Slightly less forceful that occasion, wasn't it?
Now using the power of government to threaten those with whom they disagree with sanctions. They're threatening me and others with disbarment.
Bringing
forth evidence now in our country not only gets you the mockery of the mainstream media.
I've been there.
I've been there.
To actually report on it.
I've been there.
But it now gets you.
No, it's got nothing to do with you disagreeing with them politically, you lying shitbag. And the mendacity of these fucks is so frustrating. Someone found me the video of him saying that. Anyway, yeah, it's got nothing to do with you disagreeing with it. It's, it's the fact that you're lying and spreading misinformation and all the rest of it. Yeah, there we go. Right.
I want to thank every one of you for coming out to support This isn't our this is support. The world is watching elections that have to be fair in the country and the world, because otherwise it's end times, which we're probably already in anyway, but that's a good thing. That Jesus loves you all. God bless you.
So we're in the end times, but that's a good thing. Yeah, he's a religious nutcase. And thank you to what was the name again? Sorry, JVJD, who's a Twitch followeaster, a Loganista, if you will, who sent me that. Thank you very much. And you can go and follow me on Twitch as well. The links are below.
Ethics complaints filed against you if you are a lawyer.
Wow.
So what do we do about that? When the Michigan Attorney General, who is the chief law enforcement person in the state, threatens those with whom she disagrees, you know what that is? That's tyranny.
Yep.
That is totalitarianism. So in our election system, and it's been going on for years, after every election, people challenge elections.
Right.
That happens on a regular basis after elections. That's part of our republic. That's part of
yes, you can challenge, but it's frivolous. Frivolous lawsuits that are the problem.
Discourse. We're enabled to go in and have those discussions through the court system to challenge elections. And what Dana Nessel is saying is that you can't do that anymore.
Right.
Because if you try to do it, she will threaten you.
No, you're both you're not a lawyer. You're a liar. That is not what Dana Nessel is saying. She is saying that you are being frivolous and dangerous and potentially deleterious to public confidence in elections. You're not challenging an election. You're trying to overthrow an election and overthrow a democracy.
She will try to take your license and she will try to silence you.
Wow.
So her statements, this is no longer part of public discourse. This is chilling.
You think she's talking about all the lawyers? She's talking about you.
Well, we've talked about it. I totally agree with you. She is talking about me.
Right.
And we've talked about the importance of public discourse.
Right.
Her tweet, as I've said, chills public discourse.
Yeah.
What it does is it asks a lawyer to put their fear above the representation of their client in legitimate litigation.
Right.
No, it is not legitimate litigation. That's the lie you're telling.
That is tyranny. Right. That's totalitarianism.
It is not tyranny.
That is fascism.
She wants to scare
it's
you
fascism.
But
so it's both communism and fascism. So communists have taken over then and they're doing fascism. Okay.
It gets worse.
Right.
It gets worse.
Around November 20th, Dana Nessel did an interview with the Washington Post. And in that interview, she threatened every Michigan legislator. And she said that any Michigan legislator with whom she disagreed with, any of them who challenged these election results, she would investigate them and seek criminal sanctions against them.
Wow.
I am going to guess, I have not seen that, and again, they're not even going to show you. They're not even going to show you an example of her saying that. At least they had the tweet for the previous thing, which was also nonsense. But even if that's the case, I'm not going to take this weird Q twat's interpretation of the
saying
words.
to these Michigan legislatures that if they
legislators
do anything
legislators
to bring forth the word of their constituents to challenge
the legislature is the body, a legislator is an individual.
Election results, they could be charged criminally. It's asking elected officials, again, to put their fear above the word and the choice of their constituents.
Wow.
And you ask yourself,
wow,
why did so many elected officials in Michigan
and the music's back again
to look at the evidence that was presented to them?
They did it out of fear.
Or time and time again
they didn't refuse to look at it. You had meetings. You had the fucking Melissa Carone who was in this video earlier. She appeared at it. Trust me, I did a fucking cringe compilation. 1 second. Hang on. I need my channel, don't I? My channel. There we are. But anyway, I did a MAGA cringe compilation based on that. Look, the Michigan Insane Asylum.
I was a challenger down at TCF, and I did experience
Lansing,
a lot of things of what
Michigan.
people are saying. There was intimidation. There was the cock blocking.
There was cock blocking, everybody. I'll put a link into the chat if you want to go and watch the full thing. But the basic point is, the Michigan legislature and legislators did not refuse to look at your evidence. there was literally a thing, hours long over the course of 2 separate sittings, that where the legislators were shown your evidence, and was found it pretty wanting, it has to be said.
That they haven't seen any evidence of voter fraud or vote interference. And you combine that with what we've now learned about the interview Dana Nessel gave on November 21st, telling elected officials they'd be charged criminally. And I say this right now, everything that Dana
No, potentially charged criminally, I think was what you said earlier, but okay.
Nessel has done in terms of threatening me and threatening state legislatures.
Threatening
violates
you,
the
okay.
Michigan rules of professional conduct, and she should resign immediately. It demonstrates that she's not fit for office.
Well, there's many like her. We know that. This is going to reveal all the evil in our country, all the criminals in the country.
All of the evil and all of the criminals. Yes, your weird 2-hour ramble with other idiots and conspiracy lunatics is going to reveal all of the, I don't know, public money embezzlement. All of the jaywalking. Like, shut the fuck up, Mike. Yeah, again, I can understand why he and Trump are so alike, you know.
All the ones that tried to suppress this, and that's just from social media, like Jack Dorsey, like Mark Zuckerberg. Well, everyone.
Mark Zuckerberg! Mark Zuckerberg! Zuckerberg, 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 Zuckerberg. Sorry. Anyway, Mark Zuckerberg. Which is a compound of Zuckerberg and Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg. He's such a fucking idiot.
Well, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. What you're going to see now is 100% proof that we had upon our country the biggest cyber attack in history. And I'm going to bring on Mary Fanning to explain.
If this is the bit they've all been waiting for, why did you wait until like the last 20 minutes or 25 minutes of a 2-hour fucking presentation?
And let's show you the 100% proof. Mary, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Mike. Today we've been watching cybersecurity experts, and they've explained some of the things that happened in the election, some of the election fraud. But what we're
She's so super secret that she can't even show her face. That's how super secret she is, yeah.
seeing here is, if you look at this chart, is that there were cybersecurity experts who began collecting information on November 1st, and so this was before, during, and after the election, that they were collecting documentation. In fact, they collected terabytes of information that document the election fraud, the foreign intrusion into our election.
Yeah, you might as well have said Mark Facebook, or it wouldn't have been as funny. But one of my favourite things, I think it might have been from, no, was it Michigan or Ohio? I can't remember. Anyway, when they do the thing of during the primaries for the candidates for the Democratic and Republican nominations for president, they obviously have to, at the conference, they have to like announce each state's vote and then tally the votes and declare a winner. Now, obviously, Trump was always going to win, but they still went through the process, the pageantry of the thing. And I remember, I think it was Ohio, because I remember we were playing it on the show, and he got a little bit overexcited because he said the people, the voters, the primary voters of the great state of, I think it was Ohio, so I'll go Ohio. The great state of Ohio cast our votes for Donald John President. For Donald John President. Bless him.
This was collected in 2,995 counties in the United States. This was collected in real time. All right, so if you go to the chart, what you will see is the documentation of foreign interference in the election. The first column, if you look at the chart, that shows that on 11/5/2020, at 7:43 and 38 seconds, we had a foreign intrusion, and it shows the IP address, the Internet Protocol address. That is the number of that protocol address of the hacker that entered into our election. The second column is the owner.
Well, no. Again, that's just a thing. You're showing me a thing from Shenzhen Huawei Technology Company. But how do you know any of this stuff about it being the target entry point, Roskilde County elections? What's that a thing?
That IP address that shows the ChinaNet in Beijing province. And
what is that again? I can only point to the. Is it back on screen? Yes. Citation fucking needed.
Entered the election. It shows an ID that is the unique address of a computer. That shows the exact computer using that IP source that entered into our election. The next is the target. That's the IP target. That's the internet protocol address of the target.
Yeah, no, Fanning was, she's the woman who wrote the thing that we looked at earlier, the weird article that doesn't prove anything and doesn't provide any sources whatsoever.
And the next is the target state. In this case, it shows that it's Michigan. Where in Michigan? That's the next count. It shows that it's in Emmett County, Michigan. Then the ID target. That is the unique address of another computer in the United States that the hacker has gone into. And then it shows the method of intrusion. Now, on some cases, you're going to see that they...
Votes changed as well. They know exactly how many votes were changed in each case, and it was 17,000, which, if that was true, it would be ridiculous and easy to spot. And if you're the only person that's done that, I would suggest... Call me crazy. You've made it up. This is bollocks. Again, I don't have to take you seriously in the slightest because, dickhead, you haven't provided any citations, so I can't even look at where this information's coming from. You might as well have just made it all up because it's as good as useless.
They use credentials. That means that they have fake credentials because there were administrators that had been placed on the Secretary of State's computers. False administrators. In other cases, it shows that they broke through the firewall. In some cases, they did both. Now, in the next column, it shows whether it was successful. You'll see a Y. That shows that, yes, it was successful. Now, oftentimes, they're not successful, and they have to go back and try for another intrusion, and then it shows whether that's, in fact, successful as well. Then in the final column, what you're seeing are votes changed. Now, in this particular case, when they went into Emmett County, Michigan, the votes that were changed was they stole...
Have we got any IT people who can, like... Mac spoofing isn't a thing at all. So is this bullshit? I'm almost certain it is total wank, like just made up. But if there are any IT people who want to give me a better understanding of that.
3,477 votes from Donald Trump. That's what you're looking at. Now, as you go through the...
Again, I'd like to know where these numbers come from. Even if all of this stuff up to this point is true, even if all of the ID source and IP target... or even if that's all true, how are they getting these numbers? Where are these numbers coming from?
This document, and you look at all the multiple intrusions into our election, what you'll notice that over 60% of these intrusions come from China. So that is over 66% is what the number is. Over 66% of the intrusions into our election came from China.
I'm not massively surprised,
but some things were set in place, including some of the changes that took place in this country.
Factcheck.org is debunked. Can you send me a link to that, please?
Particularly when we had the Wuhan virus or the COVID-19 virus hit this country. And we have
the Wuhan virus. At least you didn't call it China virus, I suppose. Would that, at least that's only regionally racist? Is that better? I don't know.
Well, first, Mike, do you have any questions about this chart and what it is showing?
Yeah. So what you have here is that each one of these is its own timestamp that is 100% proof because you...
Okay, IT guy here, she's spewing garbage to confuse dumb people. That was what I presumed was the case. But, yeah. Repeat top IP target address is for Gaslight Media. Okay.
You have that not only where it came from, it's basically you have their identification, you have who they were attacking, their identification. This is what everybody would want. If you ever looked in and did an audit or wanted to look into a computer and look what went on in cyberspace, this is what you'd be looking for, correct?
This is forensic evidence of foreign footprints as they entered our election in a cyber warfare attack on our election. And then it shows exactly what they, where did they come from, which computer exactly the timestamp, exactly which computer they entered into, in what state, which county, the ID, the unique ID of the computer that they entered into. And then it shows how they entered using false credentials or breaking through the firewall or both. Wow. Were they successful the first time, the second time? And then it shows.
I'm looking. Did you not send it to me on Twitter? The link, Bimarella? I don't know. I don't know where you've sent me the thing. So, is it on Facebook maybe? I don't know. Are we friends on Facebook? I don't even know. I presume your real name isn't actually Bimarella. Maybe I'm wrong. No, I don't see anything. Sorry.
The votes that they stole from Donald Trump. Right. This is proof positive. This is documentation of a cyber attack, but it also is documentation of the footprints of those who entered our election.
Right, right. And look at, if everybody notices here, everyone, you don't think this was all put together in one big attack? Everyone was Donald Trump down, down, down. This wasn't another country that wanted it the other way. This was the biggest attack in history. And you have, and Mary, you have, we have...
The biggest attack in history. Whoa. I'm guessing, yeah. It seems pretty obvious that they're full of shit, but... Whatevs. Where have you sent me the link? Because I can't find it anywhere. I don't know. Maybe they. I don't know. Whatever.
Pages and pages, right? Thousands of these pages of every county, right? Of every single attack.
There are thousands of pages of the documented footprints, the foreign intrusion into our elections. We see this is coming from China, in many cases from Huawei, from Alibaba Cloud Service, from China Unicom, from UCloud, from China Mobile Titong. You know, this also came and...
Some of that sounded racist, but I don't know. It just sounded like she was kind of making shit up there, but I don't know. Maybe those are real things.
From Iran as well.
Right. From Iran.
This is the foreign intrusion.
This is the first time I'd heard Iran mentioned, but there you go.
This is the theft of our vote, but it also is documenting exactly the vote totals that were stolen from Donald Trump.
Right, and this
what we have heard.
Well, this is what I've been telling everyone. This is where you got, if you add these numbers up. When I said, and I actually told the president when I met with him, I said, you know, you actually won this election by almost 80 million votes for you, for Donald Trump, to about 68 million for Biden. And that's not counting all the other kind of theft we talked about earlier in the show. This.
Yeah, you made up some numbers and told him, and he liked it because he's also an idiot. Did it. Thank you, Bimarella. I'll put this on the screen and have a look. Oh, hang on. There we go. Citation didn't need it. Doesn't need to be there because we've got a citation. MyPillow CEO's video rehashes debunked election conspiracy fraud claims, which is true. Yeah, I mean that's Quick take. A 2-hour video claiming to prove that the 2020 presidential election was stolen from former President Donald Trump has been viewed tens of thousands of times online and aired on the cable news channel One American News Network. They don't mind being sued, clearly. But the video rehashes baseless conspiracy theories and debunked claims. Full story. Is this going to be quite... Oh, there's a lot going on there. Yeah. Okay. There was no cyber attack. That's the bit I'm sort of most interested in. A central focus appears to be what he deems, quote, absolute proof of the biggest cyber attack in history, unquote. But the claim is really just a warmed-over version of a conspiracy theory about a secret supercomputer that we've already addressed. Which is... there. What's that? Yeah. Flawed theory. CNN video shows errors, not fraud. Okay. The theory appeared several days before the election on a dubious blog called American Report, which is literally the fucking site he got this shit from. Okay, brilliant. Which claimed that Biden was using a supercomputer called Hammer and a software called Scorecard to steal another presidential election. What was the first one? The premise of the theory is that Hammer and Scorecard can be used to access electronic voting systems and switch or change votes. It was elevated to national attention when Sidney Powell, idiot, Georgia, a lawyer who joined Trump's legal team after the election, promoted it on Fox News. But the bogus theory was directly disputed by federal and state officials as well as experts who study election security, as we explained at the time. The US Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency flatly rejected the claim. The agency's director, Chris Krebs, who was appointed by Trump, called the theory nonsense and a hoax. CISA has said that safeguards including auditable logs and software checks used by the states ensure accuracy in vote tallies. Still, Lindell invited Mary Fanning, one of the authors of the original America Report post, to present an updated version of the theory on his video. Quote, "This is a documentation, the proof positive," unquote, that foreign governments manipulated the result of an election, she said, while showing a map of the world with lines connecting China, Iran and other countries to the US. Fanning called it, quote, an act of war and an act of war to come in and steal the election from the American people, unquote. She had cited the same map in a January the 3rd blog post claiming that the originator of the conspiracy theory had, quote, revealed that there is not just one hammer in the United States, but now also a second hammer in the United Kingdom, and also a third hammer in China. The theory isn't any more convincing with 3 supercomputers than it was with 1. Fair. I think this gets a cheeky little retweet. And on the old Facebooks as well, I reckon. Thank you, Bimarella. I don't know why I'm saying your name weird, but it's if it happened, it's a thing. And I'll post this in the chat for everybody. Yeah, there's no evidence for any of that, is there? Because it's just literally, oh, they've got one in China and one in Britain, and what the fuck are you talking about? Anyway, let's try and power through this. Jesus Christ, we've got 17 minutes left.
These are the real numbers that were taken off and that were flipped. I mean, this is incredible, everybody. This is historical proof too. We not only have this is what we've all been waiting for. And
it's certainly uncredible. That's a different vowel at the start, though.
You said there's a video too we want to show.
Yeah, look, there's the lines. So you've got, that's China with various parts of America. Is that bit still China? Is that Taiwan? I'm not sure.
Documentation, the proof positive, by cyber experts from in this country that began documenting the theft of our election. Wow. They put together a full documentation of every vote beginning on November 1st. So again,
there's one in Britain.
During, and after the election, they documented the footprints of the foreign intrusion
Syria?
into our election. That means that foreign
That's Iran.
adversaries, really, because this was an act of war to come in and steal the election from the American people and decide who our foreign adversaries were going to put in the White House.
If that's true, by the way, if that's an act of war, then America has declared war on various countries. Some countries multiple times throughout history by stealing their elections.
Rule or to be the president of this country.
Right.
Now, there's a video, and so that will show. And
Yeah, what more evidence do you need? There are lines on a screen. Some people are so cynical.
Are you looking at the video, Mike?
Yeah, we're going to pull up the video here, Mary. Okay, here we go. We just pulled up the video. Wow, what's going on here with all these lines?
Fuck all, Mike.
Well, the video, what you were
absolutely nothing is going on there. Fuck all. This is dipshittery.
Watching is the surveillance system. In fact, this is the very surveillance system that was built by people inside this country within the cybersecurity battle space that built some of this
Citation
that were built to keep this country safe. But what you're watching is that every line on that drawing, all those moving lines, they represent the IP addresses of what I just showed you on the chart. So,
yeah, but what did you show us on the chart? Like nothing.
So when you understand the hacker's IP address and the IP...
we've even got some vuvuzelas. Or is that one vuvuzela in a Colombia? I'm not sure.
address of the target and the votes that were stolen, every one of those lines that you're watching move across the chart and showing
is that
whether
a
they were
cheeky
successful
Tibet going on there?
votes they stole. That documents that.
Or is it Tibet
every
further
red
down?
line, as they
know.
turn red, as they finish stealing the vote, basically, the red lines are all China. So what you're seeing are the actual...
The red lines are all China. Okay. That one's going into fucking space. Look at this cheeky bastard. Up it goes. Oof.
Files being received and sent. That's a documentation of the real-time theft of our elections.
Wow.
So every line on the map,
This
there's
is
a
like
corresponding
hackers.
line on the sheet. And the color and the line types represent the severity of the attack. Now, red has been the most severe attacks. Those lines are all coming out of China. Those
Look
are
at
the
this
most severe
absolute
attacks on our election system.
dipshit.
Wow.
Trying to follow the lines on the screen like a cat trying to fucking get to the football on the screen. Have you ever had that with cats? I have. I like to watch snooker. It's a silly thing I do. Anyway, and the cat, when the ball goes in the pocket, starts looking behind the screen to see where the ball's gone. He's a very silly creature.
Now, this exact information, the same exact type of information, I should say, was presented to FBI director, former FBI director.
There's
James
all
Comey
the Georgia
by a
ones.
whistleblower in 2015. They knew,
Georgia,
in fact, that our election machines were open for hacking. It's important to understand that there are prismatic scoring algorithms that they knew about that enter the election and they steal the vote at the transfer points. So at the point where the vote is leaving the Secretary of State's office and these machines, that is the point at which the vote is stolen.
What happened to all the Venezuela stuff? Wasn't it all Venezuela at one point? The ghost of Hugo Chavez moves in mysterious ways, clearly.
Transfer points. That's what you're watching. Those packets moving is that's
I've got a
real-time
packet for you.
documentation of the theft of the vote from inside this country. And then the numbers, the last column, those document exactly the numbers of votes. It shows in some of the cases Antrim County where the vote was stolen, and exactly the vote stolen at the exact time stamp of when they were stolen, and the number stolen at that point.
So, Mary,
that's all again an almost sarcastic clump in Georgia. Fucking
so
hell.
what you're saying, Hal, is, and this is what I already know, but actually I'm learning a lot here as we go. What you're saying, every one of these lines, let's say we did take Antrim County, and we took that, we could pull out the timestamps for that county, and we could show the lines, the country that did it. We could show a line for every single hack or attack that we had in this election.
Very convincing, Mike.
That's right. So what you're watching is those objects moving are the actual files that are being received and sent.
These are the squares here that are being sent. So everybody out there, what you're looking at, I mean, this is the proof. So if like Antrim County, that case is still open, you just go, here you go. Now you know who did it, how many votes flipped, when they did it, what time they did it, the computer it came from, the country that attacked us. I mean, this is what I have been excited about, and I only seen one. You know, Mary, I only seen one little line.
I don't really want to know what Mike Lindell gets excited about, to be honest. It's a little bit weird.
You know, that would show the IP address, that, you know, all that stuff that you're showing us. When I found out that you had it for that we had it, that all these people had this for every single vote, every single attack, and whether it was successful or not. Look at right now, we got up on the screen. Georgia is just getting attacked. It was just getting attacked up here at that moment in time. And I suppose, you know, they know what
Georgia's getting attacked. It's like 1864 all over again.
And they did the biggest attack right here. Look at everybody. Georgia and Michigan getting bombarded. My guess is that was probably like 3 or 4 in the morning when they really needed them votes to be flipped. Mary, this is incredible.
Yes, because there is proof positive. There is documentation of all the foreign interference into our election showing exactly who stole the vote, how they stole the vote, from which computers, access to our election, to which computers they went into. So understand that cybersecurity experts that work for this country put all this in place before the election even started to make sure that they
that's fine. But who said that in the chat? Lindsay Rogers. Yeah, if you need to duck out at any point, that's absolutely fine. I'm not going to blame anyone. I am a weird sadist / masochist, whatever. That you can still look. It's still. If you need to duck out at any point, you can. That's absolutely super duper. There's no problem. Thank you for coming anyway. Listening to these people will kill brain cells. So, you know, if you need to fuck off, you can do. Yeah. Is Kristi back? Does she want back in on the thing? Because I didn't think D&D didn't last very long. Doesn't it last longer than that usually? I don't know. Pardon me. Oh, 1 second, everybody. Kristi sent me a photo. If this is a dick pic, what we got? Do we have one of my regulars in the chat, Moomoof? I don't know if they do. I don't know if they're around. Hopefully they are, though. And if you are, Moomoof, happy birthday, mofo. You're a blessed creature and a very welcome and loved part of our community. Thank you. Yeah, does Kristi want back in? Hang on, I'll ask her. Apologies, everyone. I have to set up a Zoom call now, I think. I'll do that while I wait for a response. I have no idea if she's going to rejoin, but fuck it. It takes like 5 seconds to set up a Zoom call. Assuming you don't need to give it a name or anything. Kristi can come back and join in if she wants. Join with computer audio. There you go, Kristi. I've sent you a thing. If you want to rejoin the thing, it's a thing. Google him and read his wiki. Whose? What wiki am I supposed to be reading? I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry. Anyway, Kristi, I've sent you a Zoom link if you want to rejoin. What's this? Oh, someone's sending me stuff again. Okay. Uno momento. What's this?
What?
Why have you sent me a link to my own thing? What? 255 AD. You sent me a link to my own fucking web. The stream I'm doing right now. Dennis Montgomery. Who the fuck is that? Dennis Montgomery is an American software designer and former medical technician. Okay. The man who conned the Pentagon. Habitual liar who engages in fraud. Nevada bribery. Informant for Sheriff Joe Arpaio. Okay, he looks mental. Okay. Did Kristi get back at all yet? She's in the chat. Do you not want back on or what? I don't know what she's doing. I need to speak, don't I? Because if I don't speak, it's just dead air. And I don't know. To be honest. Oh, hang on. 1 second. Just don't. What? Yeah, I did the shout out, Kristi. Join the fucking Zoom call. How to wait. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if she's fucking rejoining or not. I'll leave. Whatever. I'll just go.
All of this information so that foreign adversaries were not deciding our elections.
Absolutely. And what a blessing that they were there for us to catch all this and to get all this put together. And even to have these, to be proactive. They were proactive, everybody. And this is what a blessing this is, because we came this close to never knowing. And this is actually a miracle that we have all this, Mary. And this is amazing.
Oh, that Montgomery chap was the guy who came up with this map. Oh, okay. That doesn't surprise me. With a noted history of fraud. Yeah, amazing.
And now we have with us General McInerney, who is going to give us a perspective on what we just seen. General, thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you, Mike, and thanks for what you're doing for this great nation. This is vitally important. You have just seen the most massive cyber warfare.
Crazy old Cooter comes on and starts doing his thing. Awesome. Also, weird neck. Just
attack in the history of mankind. Now, the founding fathers
in the history of mankind. In the history of mankind.
About cyber warfare, but we do, and that's the important thing. You have seen just how it was orchestrated against our.
It's not true, by the way. Thomas Jefferson invented the Trojan horse bug. It's true. If it's not, he can sue me.
System. And I took an oath of office 60-some years ago as a plebe on the plains of West Point to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. We now are seeing the largest domestic enemy we have in our history. And people must understand that. What happened? You spelled it out. It was driven by China.
Fucking
and they used
mental. This guy's incredible. He's just like a rapid-fire bullshit machine.
System that we have had, because only that system could modulate and coordinate
oh, the music's
any
back.
Simultaneous attacks that they used against us. Now, why this is so important is because our military, which I spent 35 years in the Air Force and ended up as the number 3 man in the Air Staff, as well as heading up Vice President Gore's reinventing government for the entire Department of Defense. Those two jobs simultaneously. We now are faced with something our military has never seen before, nor have the American people.
Zombies.
We are going against globalists who are not interested in America.
Globalists.
They are interested in us becoming
you know it's a serious person when they're talking about the globalisms. Fuck me.
Socialist, communist state. They talk about progressivism, but progressivism is just the front door to communism.
Oh, bollocks, I pressed the thing again. Anyway, progressivism is the front door to communism. Hang on, where are we? Where's crazy old man Cooter again? It was 50-something, wasn't it, I think?
In America on this important election. The American people must understand what we are facing today, and that's why all of us here that you're seeing in this program are so focused. I could not understand. Now, why this is so important is because our military, which I spent 35 years in the Air Force and ended up as the #3 man in the Air Staff, as well as heading up Vice President Gore's reinventing government for the entire Department of Defense, those two jobs simultaneously, we now are faced with something our military has never seen before, nor have the American people.
Zombies.
We are going against globalists who are not interested in America. They are interested in us becoming a socialist communist state. They talk about progressivism, but progressivism is just the front door to communism. They want a global communist world.
The global communist world. Ooh. Someone sent me a thing again. Where are we? Another Brent Terhune. Okay, we can nab this.
Hi there, and welcome to an introduction to QAnon.
Yeah, this is called QAnon training video.
Or as we'd like to call it, Q-University. Let's not waste any time. Now, the first rule of Fight Club is don't talk about Fight Club. But the first rule of QAnon is talk about QAnon all the time. We like to use the acronym ABTQ. Always be talking QAnon. For instance, if your friend asks, how was your day? You could say, there's a cabal of vampires drinking children's blood and they meet in the dungeon of a pizza place. You keep that up and you'll be alienated in no time. Whenever someone tries to come at you with facts, send them a link to a website nobody's ever heard of. Make sure it makes outlandish claims such as the Pope was arrested. And if you want to get even crazier, the Pope was arrested by Dog the Bounty Hunter. And remember, the more Photoshop the pictures, the better. You could even send someone a YouTube video, but make sure it's at least 5 hours long. By the end of it, they'll be so fatigued, they'll believe anything. Here at QAnon, we like to have fun. That's why we have weekly contests, and you can be a part of them simply by joining our mailing list on the dark web. This week, we're playing what we'd like to call Conspiracy Mad Libs. We'll choose a winner, and they'll be a part of our talking points for the week. This week, we chose Jewish Space Laser, submitted by Marjorie Taylor Greene from Georgia. Notice she wasn't afraid to bring race into it, because here at QAnon, we're not afraid to be racist, but we do like to be coded about it. And finally, the most important rule of QAnon, you have to trust the plan. Even if the plan is constantly changing and the promises that were made are never kept. It's like a deadbeat dad that says he's going to show up, but then never does. That's QAnon. You have to trust the plan like a deadbeat dad. That'll do it for this installment of Q-University. Keep watching the dark web for part 2. And remember, there's a storm coming, and where we go one, and one for all.
Oh, Brent, you cheeky minx.
You must understand that, America. It's so important. And it's so important that President Trump...
Oh, yeah, we're good fucking old communist. Progressivism is communism, man. Fucking hell.
...million votes in the election to 68 million for Biden, because we have, and you've seen those exact numbers.
68 million. Eat my balls.
He dominated. It was an awesome victory.
Dominated.
And yet they turned it around, foreigners. And we have not had one audit. This is the closest thing to an audit that has been conducted in America on this important election. The American people must understand what we are facing today, and that's why all of us here seeing in this program are so focused. I could not understand was that the legislatures, the judicial, and the executive, meaning the FBI, the Department of Justice, the intelligence community, have failed us, the deep staters. They did not report this.
The deep state wars.
This was the most massive cyber warfare attack. So did Cyber Command, did the National Security Agency, did the CIA?
You know what I like to trust? You know who I like to really trust with my information about crazy cyber shit? Crazy old men. Crazy old naval veterans or whatever, yeah. Those guys know what's going on. Motherfucker can remember when they didn't have colour TV and shit. Like, shut the fuck up.
Did the Department of Justice, the FBI, report this? No.
Well, General, to put this in perspective,
Is that
then,
John Birch?
Here, 100% that this was the biggest cyber attack in world history, correct?
Yes.
That's correct.
Wow. Well, thank you. And we're going to see. It's going to. I was telling everyone, General, when this is all revealed, it's going to be a great uniter of all people in our country, and we're going to be in the greatest revival ever to bring our country back to one nation under God. Thank you.
Well, God bless you for what you're.
That literally, he might be the most, like, almost obscenely delusional, confected, hope fucking copium addict ever, isn't he? When all of this is revealed, it'll be a great uniter and lead to the greatest revival ever. That's madness. That's fucking madness. I know, I think he is actually a naval veteran, to be fair. I mean, yeah, you can just wear a hat, obviously, but I think he actually was like a reasonably high-ranking naval veteran in the past. But, yeah. Is this elder abuse? I don't know. I don't think so. He seems like, even though he's ranting about communism, he doesn't seem like he's actually insane. He's just full of shit.
You're doing, Mike. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, General. And now we have with us Terry Turchi. He's the former Deputy Assistant Director of Counterterrorism Division.
What was the point in him bringing on that old fuck? Like, he didn't. All he said was progressivism is communism. Something, Navy, something, thank you. Like, there was no point. He didn't show anything. It's nonsense.
The FBI. And, you know, Terry, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Mike.
And we've just shown everybody in the world 100% evidence that this was an attack on our country and is still under attack by China and other countries through the use of these machines.
I genuinely, I am disappointed, hurt, upset that we haven't heard more about the Vuvuzela. The Vuvuzela people, especially the corpse, the fetid corpse of Hugo Chavez, who apparently was massively involved in this, not getting enough big ups on this. Like, I know they want to push a China thing because of Trump, but I can't help but feel that the ghost of Chavez should be getting A-list billing, and they've kind of overlooked his pivotal role. Do you know what I mean? Crazy days.
Used in our election. I want to ask you, where was the FBI? People out there wondering, where's the FBI or the DOJ during this whole time, these last few months?
Sure. Well, a lot of former FBI agents are asking that too as well, Mike. They're asking, where's the FBI been? They're responsible and accountable for trying to protect the country. That's what our counterintelligence money is all about. That's what our counterintelligence division is all about. And yet the question of where were they and where are they, I think probably can best be explained like this. The FBI has most likely been as compromised as the Democratic Party and the rest of the government.
You can't trust the FBI unless the FBI say a thing that we like, and then you can trust the FBI. Fucking end me.
They simply didn't do the job. If they'd have done the job, all that you just showed in this program would have unfolded inside of a courtroom. And that's exactly what we should be doing right now. We should be talking about the penetration of the United States government and government agencies.
Shown here too.
I've got a penetration for you. Hey-o.
This is all people. This has been, what we've shown today. This is another country taking our country. I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican.
What the
we
fuck?
are one nation under God.
You haven't shown anything.
I mean, I guess I'm very happy now that it's all going to get out to the country and everything's going to get out.
The only thing you've shown in this entire thing, Mike, is your own vast, fucking Byzantine, multi-layered, fucking four-dimensional delusion. That's it.
Said before during the show, there's been 9 Supreme Court justices out there now watching this show and saying, wow, 100% this was an attack and we are still under attack by other countries, including China, leading the way.
He genuinely thinks this is going to be played to the Supreme Court. He honestly believes this is going to get played to the Supreme Court. He's fucking insane. He's actually insane.
They fraudulently stole our election, and we have to, and then to see that how this could happen with the FBI and the DOJ, these people that were supposed to protect our country, including the Supreme Court. If you were still in the FBI, I guess what would you be doing right now when you just see all this 100% proof here that this happened? If you're in the FBI now, if they're out there, shouldn't they be doing something now that this is all out in the open?
we would be launching a major investigation of cyber activities.
These attacks, the people that, from China and on down who did it, they're very good at trying to bury everything, to bury these deviations that came up, and then everything opened up where everybody knows that this was...
Like you're currently burying your career, yeah.
Oh, but now we know how and why. So.
Well, certainly, and the purpose of an intelligence operation of this magnitude, whether it's this magnitude or even smaller, is to conceal itself and to be so hard to figure out that by the time you get to the conclusion, it's too late. Right. And that's why it's very concerning that the FBI, that already knows and has the foundation of the China threat well in its grasp, would try to write off or just not seem to understand how this would have been the next logical step for them.
Right.
What are you talking about? What the fuck are you? Look at these two fucking creatures. If anyone ever says like some white supremacist bullshit in the future about the master race or whatever, just send them this fucking video. Just send them this shit of these two fucking crazy, well, not that, but the previous guy as well, the three crazy white fuckers talking shit. Barely got two fucking brain cells to rub together between them.
Well, they weren't proactive, but at least now we're going to be reactive, and we got to be reactive first, and then we got to be proactive for the future. That when this all.
Now this is at 1.5 speed. For those who don't know, it is sped up because it's 2 hours long, and I wanted to get through it, but it's 1.5 speed.
Manifest out. I've said it before that this is going to manifest into the greatest revival ever. It's going to unite our country, not divide us. It's going to be the great uniting, and we will once again.
The great uniting. Is that like the Great Reset? I.e., bullshit.
And be one nation under God. Thanks, Terry, for coming on, and God bless, and thanks for all you've done and what you continue to do for our country.
You too, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Now you've all seen absolute proof of the biggest cyber attack in history.
What proof? I literally watched the entire video on this stream. You didn't show any proof. There's no fucking proof. There's not even evidence. There's nothing. Mike, what are you fucking talking about? Oh, I mean, this is madness.
Right now, it's a takeover of our country. We all see it happening, and now you see the proof of where it came
from.
By
communists. Oh, eat my dick. Where are we? Sorry.
Now, what's going to happen now is it's going to change the course of our country, be the great uniting, and we will once again be one nation under God. Thanks, Terry, for coming on, and God bless, and thanks for all you've done and what you continue to do for our country.
You too, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Now you've all seen absolute proof of the biggest cyber attack in history. Right now, it's a takeover of our country. We all see it happening, and now you...
Anyway, he said at the start, takeover by communists. Did you hear any more about the communists taking over? Because I didn't even hear him mention it again. It was only until crazy old fucking veteran guy said communism. What? Anyway, no proof of anything.
You see the proof of where it came from and what happened. We all need to go out now, each and every one of you, and tell your friends, family, people, your social media, spread this out everywhere, and to show that they all need to watch this, and they all need to know the truth. And pretty soon, everyone's going to see this, including 9 Supreme Court justices. You're all there watching.
No, they're not. The Supreme Court are not going to see this. What are you talking about?
All 9 of you, and you know what? I don't know what you can do, but I know you're there to protect our country, and everything has a precedence. Everything going, well, this happened then, so we're going to base it on that. This is the precedence.
Well, yeah, America's had lots of presidents, and the current one is Joe Biden. See what I did? I misunderstood the word he was saying. Lol.
What's going on now, what's going to happen now is going to change the course of our world and our country forever. I've been getting calls from world leaders.
You've been getting calls from world leaders? He's been getting calls from world leaders, everybody. That's definitely true, and not at all a load of bullshit.
They're looking at us. What's going to happen over here? Ronald Reagan once said, America is the shining city on the hill. Its beacon light guides freedom-loving people everywhere.
Yeah, was that before or after the Alzheimer's fucked him up? I don't know.
If the lights go out here, the lights go out everywhere. I want to say that God has had his hand in all of this. This has been on God's timing. And when we get through all this, we will once again be one nation under God.
Yeah, he's a fucking psycho. I don't know what else to say. There's something legitimately fucking wrong in his head. He's wrong. He's a desperately broken human being. He's a desperately broken psychological freak. I mean, what else do you want me to say? Oh, apparently Kristi was still doing it. Why was if she was still in the thing? Why was she in the chat? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, just weird. That was just fucking weird, wasn't it? We got through the whole thing, and we got through it together. That's the big thing. This was the big uniting that's going to save America or something. I don't know. Yeah, that was fucking really weird, man. That was some wacky shit. Ooh, my. I'm just glad that like he won't have any like access to the guy who's now president, and like his political cachet is gone. You know, he's over. He's finished. That was good. That was I'm glad we got through it. I was watching that last night, and I was like, I had to do the whole thing. I couldn't not. It's just so deliciously crazy. Yeah, if you make a drinking game out of that, you're going to end up dead. Yeah. So, to sum up, there was no proof. There wasn't even any evidence. They brought on a cavalcade of just liars and lunatics. Some of whom were both, ironically. Yeah, a kind of ensemble cast of madness. I don't know, but again, I suppose it just goes to show you, doesn't it, that in America, if you've got enough money, they'll just let you do any old shit. Like Mike Lindell clearly doesn't have anyone close enough to him that loves him. Otherwise, they would say, Mike, please stop. This is not helpful. They need to do an intervention, an election intervention on him. Just calm down. Look, this is not healthy. This is not good. Okay, you're gonna not just that, but you're gonna end up broke because they're gonna sue you for every penny you've got. So just chill. But clearly he doesn't have anyone that loves him, and so we see this monster that's to become. But it's sort of funny in its own way, although it's also pretty tragic in its own way too. Anyway, I thought I'd just bring that to you. I thought I'd do a Saturday show. Thank you to Kristi for joining me for the first nigh on 2 hours of the thing in what has been, fuck me sideways, nearly a 4-hour stream. We got through it though. That was good. 1.5 speed was an essential though, because they could have taken forever at normal speed. And it wasn't as if they were chipmunking out really badly on the noise, on the audio, because they were all speaking so fucking slowly it was tedious. Anyway, thank you all for listening and watching and all the rest of it. If you want to help, if you like what I do here on the channel, and I don't know why you would, but if you do, subscribe. The little red button, hit the subscribe button, get your bell for your notifications, like the video, share the video around, leave a comment, all the rest of it. You can do similarly on Twitch. Go and give me a follow on Twitch. You can also subscribe on Twitch, but that will cost you money, unless you've got an Amazon Prime, in which case you can subscribe to a Twitch channel. You get one per month. You get like a free subscription to one channel per month, and you can use that on my channel. I would suggest there are better channels, but you can use it on my channel if you enjoy my shit. All of the links to that are below, as are the Patreon and Streamlabs and the what's the other one called? The PayPal, if you want to do like a one-off donation or a regular one on the Patreon. The social media, my Twitter and Facebook are below. The Happy Hour Facebook is below as well. You can go and check out all of those things, like them, and just generally be good people. That's the most important thing. Be good. Don't be bad. Anyway, on Twitch, hang on a second, I'll kick you all over to someone, whoever the fuck is broadcasting. Raid. Riley! There we go. You can all piss off to go and watch Riley Grace Roshong, who's an awesome trans content creator and all the rest of it. They're very good.